Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Games here. Good evening. Welcome to the first stream of 2024. We all had a good Christmas and New Year for those that I haven't seen elsewhere. Welcome to the Wessex Main Line route preview. So this is going to be a full-on look around the route. We've got two scenarios lined up this evening, and I'm also joined by the route developer Jack. Jack Hales.
Yeah.
He's here.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
There we go. So, yeah, we're going to do a freight scenario first, and then we're going to do a scenario on the updated /EP work on the 165/166, and Jack will be at hand to talk you all the way through that, as he is the one who knows everything about what he's done. So I will obviously be at hand with the driving, and Jack will be doing all the explaining and talking through things, so plenty to see, plenty to do, and plenty to look at. So we'll start off at Salisbury on 4 Oscar 71, which is a Freightliner container working that we're going to do. We'll have a look around Salisbury in a second. We'll get a few hellos in before we get going. So good evening, Nigel, Adam Haig, Josh Lake, Jake Fuller, John Wood, Robin Price, Ron Wirrell, Sammy, Ross M, Fraser Cottrell, and Matthew Cook. And whoever else is here, if you're not in the chat, good evening to you as well. We'll get this briefing read, and then we can close that and have a look around. So good evening, driver. Whilst waiting for the road here at Salisbury, set up the cab, and then check for the briefing for more information about your duties today. Hello, Ash. Good evening. How are we doing?
It's one of Ash's scenarios as well. This one.
It is.
It is. Few for the route. Yeah.
I'm going to do some nice little panoramic views, even though I've not got a controller plugged in. I can do it with my mouse and keyboard to some extent. Yeah. So you can see here we've got the depot, which is the southwest. Is it Southwest Railway? Is it SWR?
Southwestern Railway.
Southwestern
it used
Railway,
to be Southwest Trains.
Yes.
Southwestern Railway. Yeah.
It's got a nice little interior going on here. Now, some people will have probably seen this before on a JT stream, but the last time we actually showed this route off was April last year, so it's changed a fair bit, the route. There's a lot more that's been done since last time we streamed. Obviously, it's literally in a more or less finished state now. There's just very minor little bits and pieces to be finished. We've got bits and pieces that we're going to tell you about the route and obviously the upcoming release, so you're going to get all that information during the stream. Some eagle eyes may have seen some bits and pieces on the Facebook. If you haven't, I will obviously cover that anyway, properly, so that you get the idea what's going on. So we've got Salisbury Station here as well. Quite a big station as well. As platforms we've got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 platforms and a disused one. Am I right?
Yeah, platform one's disused ever since the depot opened in the early 90s for the Class 159s. Platform one's just been a reception road, so it's not used, and platform 5 is not used either. That's just for stabling. It doesn't have a starter signal, it's only got a ground signal, so it can't be used for
this one,
services.
There's actually a scenario that comes into it. I tested it the other day. It's the steam scenario, isn't it, that comes in here, and we finish off your reverse into here for watering. So you do actually get to use that line. Who else have we just got joined us here? Top notch, good evening, Jim Laltelia, and whoever else is here. Hello, hello, hello. So we'll have a look around at Wilton Junction. Is it Wilton Junction? Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Yep. We'll have a look down there and towards Quidhampton at the end of the stream when we come back in off the second scenario. We'll have a look around there. So if you want to see what down there looks like, do keep with us, and you'll get to see all that later on. This is our
and this isn't the only station that Salisbury's seen. This is the LSWR station. The GWR station was next door where the depot now is, but the Brunel station buildings are still there. So if you go to sort of where the depot road entrance is,
let me get rid of that HUD. There we go. See it better.
Heading towards the eastern end of the station, you'll see the old station building that's still there.
That's these here, isn't it? Am I correct?
There's a bit of a stream delay. Yes, it'll be where there's a water tower. Yeah.
I didn't realise it had another station here. When did that close? Do we have an idea?
Yeah, well, it was obviously GWR went there with broad gauge. Then there was a bit of competition between the two, trying to expand them both. And then I think the GWR services transferred to the LSWR station in the 30s, but it remained open for goods until the 70s. I think it was 1972 when when Wilton Junction was put in, because it was originally two separate lines in, so they ran parallel to each other. So Quidhampton's like the last stub of that line,
Okay.
And that all closed in the 70s when they just made Wilton Junction basically.
Yeah,
And then
I never knew that. To be fair, I never knew
and then
broad gauge came down here and all that.
yeah,
Interesting. I've learnt something.
yeah.
I've
And then
learnt
I think
something
from
new.
sort of the 70s to the 90s, that 20-year period, there were a bunch of sidings there.
Okay.
I think a lot of the BR like experimental trains and stuff were stored in there. Like
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know the details, but I remember seeing pictures of like the red and blue carriage Mark Ones. Those type of trains
Yeah.
were stabled there for a
All
couple
right.
of decades
Interesting.
until it became the present day depot.
Right. Interesting. I'll have to do some digging and research on that because I literally know nothing about that. So you've actually you've taught me something this evening. So that's nice to know. So we've got one of the South Western Railway 158s here as well, which is just parked up waiting for its next service. But yeah, we'll be having another look around this station in our second scenario as we finish here. So we'll get to have another look around, and as I say, we'll look at Wilton Junction and Quidhampton in a little while. Good evening to anyone else that's just joined us in the process whilst we've just been talking about the general area. This stream will be available forever and always, unless something catastrophically bad goes and happens on YouTube forever and always. So you'll be able to watch back anything you missed on, obviously, this evening if you join us late on. So we're just going to get this 66 set up. It's a Freightliner work, and it is a Wentloog Freightliners to Southampton MCT. For those like me that aren't quite versed in it, is MCT, is it Marine Container Terminal?
I think it's
No?
Maritime Container
Maritime.
Terminal.
That was close.
Yeah.
I was very close there, to be honest, so that was quite a good guess.
You
I'm going to put the electromotive stuff on as well. I like to do that. Get the windows open. So we'll spend a lot of time out of the cab as well, just so we get to see the extent of the scenery, just so you're not missing anything. If there's anything that anyone wants to ask a question, do so in the chat. Jack will be able to answer that along the way as well. I'm just going to go for the briefing. There's also 4 Oscar 71 from Salisbury to Southampton. It's a bit of a rarity to have this run fully loaded, so enjoy it, have a safe trip. Our head code again is 4071. Signal ahead is SY46, and our speed permitted for this journey is 75 miles per hour.
It's also a bit of a rarity to be routed via Eastleigh. I think there's one service a day that does that, which is this one you're driving. Most
Okay.
of them, they go direct to MCT via Romsey and Redbridge down the direct route, but I think it's just this one a day that goes this way. I'm not sure if it's for route retention or something, but
that would make sense.
Usually, yeah, there's I think 3 or 4 services a day, and this is the only one that doesn't go direct to Redbridge.
Just paused it as well, just while I show the map. So will the train reverse Eastleigh? No, it goes around. So if you look at the map, so you see we're in the top in this left-hand side here. So we're going to come all the way around here, follow my mouse, and then we're going to get to Romsey, where the junction is. And then we're going to take the line to the left, which goes onto the single line section through Chandler's Ford, which is here. And then we'll come up to Eastleigh, which is here. So you've got all the yard, extensive depot and all that lot. So we'll have a good look around there. We actually do, we have a bit of time here. So we get to stop, which gives us good time to go and have a little fly around, and we can show you everything that's there. Obviously, seeing it on pictures is all well and dandy, but seeing it properly shown off is even better. So we'll do that. We'll get up close and show you other bits and pieces that might not have been seen. We'll then take the line through Southampton Airport Parkway, and then through Swaveling, and then St Denis, and then we'll take the curve round to Southampton, and then we'll go through there, and then we'll finish up in the container terminal, which is here. Is Eastleigh Works modelled? It certainly is, Chris McBride. It certainly is, and we'll show you all that. There's loads of models that have been done for that. It's quite extensive in what's been done there. So yeah, it's well represented.
I'll just put a caveat on that. I don't know by model if you're talking about interior. There's no interior.
Yeah, there's no interior. So it's well modelled externally. Unfortunately, there's no interiors. For that, it would really be a massive impact. It's such a huge area. To have all your interiors in there, it really would be quite a hit on performance, more than likely. So yeah, it's been done just as external models, but the detail is there still. So as you can see, the route is an extension to Southampton to Bournemouth, which is a Dovetail Games route, which is available from Steam. You can pick, how much is it? £17.99 that route, Jack? Is it
I
something
think
like that?
so. Yes.
It's around that
Yeah.
ballpark, off the top of my head. So you do need that route for this to work. There won't be a standalone of Southampton like to Salisbury. You have to have Southampton to Bournemouth for this route to work. So just to put that out there now, if you are are waiting to purchase this and you haven't got Southampton to Bournemouth, now is the time to prepare yourself and go and pick up the base requirement for that. This route obviously will be releasing very soon. I will be going through the ins and outs and pricing and stuff like that in the stream. So keep with us. We'll feed you a little bits of information along the way. So we're just waiting for SY46 to clear, and then we'll head on. Shouldn't be too long. I think we're just waiting for that 158 to clear.
Yeah, I mean, you're following that all the way to Romsey, so there'll be a little bit more waiting because there's quite a long signal block from just past Laverstoke South
Yes, there
Junction
is,
all the
yeah.
way through to East Grimstead. It's a very long signal block.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't realise how long it was, that section, to be fair. When I actually when I tested this scenario last week, I was thinking, is this signal broken or what? And then I realised, wow, it's quite. It's like driving some off Hope Valley, like some of the blocks on that. I was like, it's actually quite a lot for a main line route. You don't realise how long some of these sections can be.
It is. I think it's about 5-6 miles, something like that. So yeah, it's quite a long one.
Right.
It does sometimes cause a bit of a bottleneck if there's a busy period. Because there's certain times during the day where there's about 2 or 3 freight trains in an hour. There's 1 hour where they're all sort of condensed in, and obviously it creates a bit of a traffic jam.
Yeah, it does get quite. Obviously, it's quite a busy line, really. This is as well. It's all sorts of run up and down. There's obviously all the passenger stuff and all the freight that comes in there.
I mean,
sorry, go on. I'll let you finish that first. Go on.
No. I was just going to say. I mean, the signalling for this, I think it was all. It's about 50 years old now. The signalling on this line. Right. It's all mostly between sort of Salisbury and Romsey. It's all 2-aspect signalling. So yeah, I guess maybe the traffic wasn't as busy back then or something. But yeah, I mean, as we'll see, there's some new signal models where there's been level crossing upgrades in the last, I think, 9 years ago now it was, crikey. Right. But yeah, we'll get to those.
We've got, we'll show you the new signal models, which are, am I right, is it VMS, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
So which are, I'm getting that right as well. I think it's the first for a JT route to have VMS signals.
I believe so. I mean, these are all newly modelled. Yeah,
they were new models,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the first. Will this also be released on Steam? Yes, it will be released on Steam, but it won't be a side-by-side release. That will be after. I can't say when that will be. It'll be as soon as we can get it on there, and it'll all rely on how quick we can get DTG to go through their testing process and get it onto their side. It normally does take a little while. If you're waiting for Steam, that's totally fair, but just do be aware that it might not be. It won't be like the same day or a week or so after. It'll be a little while, but it definitely will be going on there. So we're just going to take this cautiously coming out of here because obviously we're on a single yellow, and the next signal is only about 0.4 of a mile away. We've got the cathedral somewhere around here, which is over there as well. You can see that actually stands quite proud in the distance as well. So you see that for a good distance coming into to the area.
It is. It's the tallest spire in the UK.
Oh, is it?
It's a fun fact. Yeah, it's 200 and something meters, I think.
All right. That's quite big. I didn't know that either. I'm learning a lot this evening. Has St Denis Station been upgraded? It certainly has. It certainly has, and we'll show you that in a bit. And that's got a brand new station model. Does the JT and GU track apply to the original route? No. So the way this works, it will be a separate route in your list. It doesn't actually add to the original route. So the original Southampton to Bournemouth route will be left as it is, and you'll have a separate route in your route list in the Just Trains section. So it'll start with Just Trains as our routes do, and then it'll have Wessex Main Line, and you'll have the Southampton to Bournemouth with any change that Jack's done to the original route, and then this on top. There has been some changes to the original route, which I'm sure Jack will be able to go through a little bit of a list of some bits and pieces. I know signalling is definitely one of them. It's been re-signalled to use the JT signals to match up throughout. There's also some other stuff to do with signals that we'll be talking about in this stream, which Jack's been busy with, which is something that we have obviously spoken about in the dev blogs. And there was a teaser video some months ago that was shown, just a snippet of what's happened, but we'll be able to cover all that as well. We've got a green as well, so we are clear through to. Is it Laverstock Junction? This one.
Laverstock, I think it's pronounced, but yeah, that is. Well, you got Tunnel Junction immediately after the tunnel, and then Laverstock South Junction,
after.
And then you've got Laverstock North Junction on the line to the left. Yep. If you're at Tunnel Junction, if you go to the left, you go towards Basingstoke and then Waterloo.
Yep.
And then there's a triangle junction there. You've got Laverstock North on the Basingstoke line and South on that Man line.
Yeah, so if he was coming, yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, Cathedral is in. Yeah, it's just over there. So I was just showing that before. If you just missed that, Nigel. Standing proud. Right, have I missed anything in the questions there? Just having a look whilst we're just cautiously going through it. It'll be 20 minutes, so I'm just going to leave it here. SW Planner here. So hello, Oliver Harknett. Headway on Tunnel Junction to Romsey is 6.5 minutes slow headway following a stopping train. So all this good information. Like, it's nice to have people that obviously work in the area or in the railways and stuff that know this sort of stuff. Ah yeah, Salisbury Tunnel Junction, signed there as well. So if you forget, there's a sign.
Yes, there used to be a signal box there as well before it got re-signalled into Salisbury ASC panel, which is in the station building.
Okay.
You can sort of just see the concrete base there where it used to be, but the sign still exists for the tunnel, for the junction name.
Oh yeah, I see the concrete. Yeah, I know there's a bit of delay. You'll see it in a second. I've just found it.
Yeah, you've just popped out the tunnel on the street.
On a single yellow. So obviously you're going to be going into the green and red section, isn't it? So it'll be two aspect signalling, and this is Laverstock or Laverstock, however it's pronounced. South N or JN.
Yeah.
The J's been nicked.
It has, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think this triangle junction, it existed only for a few years when the line first opened, because you'll see in a minute, as we're going down this two-track section, we'll then get to a sharp left turn. It's 35 miles an hour.
I've paused the game as well, just so I have a little fly around here, just so everyone can see. So yeah, keep explaining. I'm just going to do a little bit of a panoramic just to show the bit of scenery just up this end as well, just where it ends off.
That's the site of the original Salisbury LSWR station, Milford station. It was the branch from Eastleigh, so the line we're taking now. And then when their line from Andover and Basingstoke came in, they used the single line curve to get down and use that as their terminus. But that only lasted for a few years before they built their current station. And then the single track triangle junction was lifted. I think it was reinstated in the 80s. So you could use the Wessex route as a diversionary route for the main SWR route via Eastleigh and Winchester up to Basingstoke that way for freight services, really.
Excellent. I like that.
Yeah. Tom, I've just seen Mark said my mic's peaking a bit on the stream in the Discord, so don't think to tweak anything. It's just sent us a message.
Hang on, I can tone it down at my end. Let's do a sound check.
Is that okay, everyone? Is that better?
How we're looking. Sounds alright to me. Hopefully it's all good.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I've just toned it down a little bit. Yes, it will be very soon. So, obviously there's a few people asking. So, our intentions and plans, now this isn't set in 100% stone. It could change if anything obviously happens, and things can happen. But our aim is, hopefully, we're working towards next Thursday, so the 26th, I think that is. Yeah, 25th, sorry, the Thursday. So next Thursday is our intentions, all being well. I'm allowed to say that. That is my instructions on what I've got to say, so I'm saying it as that. So yeah, fingers crossed next Thursday. We hope. Jack's definitely
Yes.
hoping. Jack's
I
been
am.
working on this route for... How long have you been working on this route, Jack?
I
Altogether?
started in December 2020, so just over 3 years.
Yeah,
It's been a
it's
long journey
long
to
slog.
get here.
And obviously you'd obviously been doing the route before you came to us as well. So I think when
Yes.
did you come to us? Was it? It wasn't last year. Was it sort of back end
It
of
was
22?
it was originally August 22, I think,
August 22.
and then officially we sort of started in the autumn
Yep.
22. So when it was officially confirmed, really. So yeah, it's been
So
with
it's
you
been
guys
it's
for
been a
about
long road.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Been a long old road indeed. What else we got? Epion, good evening. There is a scenario which makes use of the diversion too, and it's across country. So yes, that's a Voyager working, isn't it? I think if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
So Will Lawton, good evening. Just to clarify, although it's a separate route, Southampton to Bournemouth is included with the separate route. So yeah, basically, so what will happen is you have Southampton to Bournemouth, the original route, that stays as it is. So that'll always stay in your list. You can still play that as normal. Nothing will have changed on that route. What will happen is when you install Wessex Main Line, if you purchase it, it'll obviously install, and what it'll do, it'll make a new route entry into your game. So where you obviously pick your scenarios, you'll find there's a Just Trains dash Wessex Main Line, or Southampton Bournemouth Wessex Main Line, whatever its name. I can't remember off the top of my head what the actual name is.
Is Just Trains dash Wessex Main Line,
Wessex
I
Main
believe.
Line,
Yeah.
and then you'll have Southampton Bournemouth on that route with any changes that Jack's made to the original route, and then obviously the new extension on that. The extension won't go onto the original Dovetail Games route.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons for that. If Dovetail ever updated their original version, it doesn't overwrite what I've done, and it also gives me the opportunity to just go wild and update anything on the
Yeah.
original section of the route without having to worry about anything, really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then obviously people have the choice of whichever route they want. If they want to make a scenario for the base route, they can do that. Or if they want, or if you can go from, if you wanted to, you can obviously then go from Bournemouth right through to Salisbury all the way around. You can go further, which is a big thumbs up. Which is the aim. That's what you want to do. You want to go further. You can drive. Obviously, you could do a South West Trains or South Western Railway EMU service. You could obviously start at Bournemouth and go all the way through as far as Eastleigh now. So you've got extra mileage down there, all the other way around.
Yes. And there is an included scenario 2 Bravo 28, which is the Bournemouth to Winchester service as far as Eastleigh, which is a class 450 working. That's included with the route.
So
yeah,
you're not just it's not just
you can
catered
do
for
almost all of that service now.
Excellent. So the scenarios aren't just for the new section. There is some scenarios on the original part through to this as well. So both routes are used, and everywhere gets a bit of variety. And there's a good mixture of scenarios. There's you've got express, you've got stoppers, there's freight, there's a steam tour. Well, it's not a tour; it's an ECS working. It's support coach and Oliver Cromwell, I think it is it. Britannia. No, it's Britannia. Wait, 70,000. Whichever one that is. It's 7MT, I think it is. Off the JT site, that gets used, and then there's all sorts of some ECS workings. And I think there's a couple of workings, well, one or two that come out of the depot at Salisbury. You actually take it. I think it goes towards the Leamington branch. Am I right? I think. No. Hang on a second. My Discord's just decided to shut down. Hang on. Typical. Hello?
Are you back?
I'm back. My Discord just decided to close itself down. At least I wasn't talking to myself.
Yeah, I thought it might have done because you went offline as well. Your status went off.
Very strange.
But anyway, we're back now.
I'm here. At least the stream's not died. It's all good.
Yeah.
I was just saying that, I'm not sure if you heard, I was talking about the different scenarios. So I think one of the scenarios is, am I right, is you do an ECS and you start off at the depot at Salisbury and you take the ECS up to the Leamington branch and actually do a service on there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. That's from Salisbury Depot to Brockenhurst, and you do a return working
Yep.
to Lymington. Yeah, with a 158. I mean, yeah, that working nowadays is 450s from Bournemouth Depot, but until I think about 5 years ago, it's worked with 158s from Salisbury.
Yeah. Good evening, Richard White. How are we? Hope we're well. GL Glamorgan lifts. What track enhancement is that? This isn't. It's not a track enhancement. This is the JT/Goo track, which comes through our common library. So it's our own licensed track from Goo Studios. It's the same track that gets used on the Midland Main Line and South Western Expressway's Reading route. Evening, Len. Good evening. How are we doing? Steve Smedley, good evening. When is this route coming out? Our aims and intentions, fingers crossed, all being well, will be next Thursday. Hopefully, that is our work to and plan. Subject to change if something happens, of course. So it's not 100% set in stone, but that is what we are hoping for. Evening, Chris. How are we doing? I get paranoid now, hoping that this Discord doesn't finger.
Hopefully it's okay now. Yeah.
It's alright at the moment. It's good.
It is. I'll drop you a message if anything changes.
Well, that's it. At least you can obviously tell me. I don't know what it did this a few weeks ago, just after, well, last week or so after Christmas when we come back from work, and it kept disconnecting and shutting itself off. I have no idea why.
Bizarre.
The 25th, which is not this one, the football after.
Yeah, 9 days time. Hopefully.
Not long. Mark it in your calendar. So obviously, bear in mind we're on 2 aspect signals, so I believe we get repeaters as well down here, so we'll get some warning.
Yes, yeah, you will.
Even
at this point, I think you're probably clear all the way through to Eastleigh now, because it's just once you've gone through this long signal block, they're then much closer, so you're never going to catch up to the service again. So it's just getting through that first signal block that's the main delay.
And Stegs is Crankybot. Good evening, Crankybot/Stegs. Hope we're doing well. Sam Batchelor, there's a question for you here, Jack. So what made you start this route extension?
Put simply, it's my local line. I live about, well, when I'm not at university, I live about a few minutes drive from Mottisfont and Dunbridge Station, which we'll see shortly. So yeah, I only live about a mile or so away from there. So when the Southampton Bournemouth route released in 2019, I got quite excited about that. That's fairly local to me, because there hasn't been much in that area before that point. But yeah, it was just the end of 2020. I was sort of wanted to try my hand at route building. I'd never really done it before, and yeah, I started off. It was just building up towards Romsey from Redbridge. At that point, the scope of the project was, let's get Redbridge to Salisbury, and I wasn't going to bother with Eastleigh because that was a load of work for someone brand new to route building. And there, it just sort of went from there. And yeah, here we are, 3 years later, just over, with a complete route that I'm really happy with.
It touched a bit like a duck on water. I'm glad we've got Eastleigh as well. I think a lot of people wanted Eastleigh in the original DTG route, so I think to have that is definitely a winning option. And it gives that it makes you obviously you can do the Romsey and Salisbury circular, can't? Because there's obviously the service that does the full circular route, so it made sense to have that.
Definitely, yes, and I'm glad
it's
I added that.
It's not a long distance, is it? But it's obviously there's a lot crammed into that small sort of section. Obviously it's a very well built up area. There's a lot to get in there. Obviously you've got an airport, you've got a big depot, big station at Eastleigh, and everything else that comes in between. So.
Yeah.
It wasn't a small task, was it?
It wasn't. No, it did take quite a while to build up the Eastleigh area, just with it being so densely populated.
Yeah.
I see Adam's just asked about the green AWS ramp. I mean, yeah, normally they're used in third rail areas, so they've got a stronger force on them to counteract the force from the third rail. But interesting, when they've done some track renewals along here in recent years, if you look at the cab ride, they've just used the green AWS ramp along here as well. So that's just replicating what's there in reality. You wouldn't normally see one on the diesel line, but it's obviously what they used. But yeah.
I'm trying to pause it.
I think
I'll show you this.
I was just going to say, I think you're just going past East Grimstead
It is, yeah.
ECC. Yes. Yeah, this hasn't been used for a number of years now. Did have some workings to Quidhampton, but I don't think it's seen service for about 30, 40 years or something.
Right. What
I
did
mean,
you
I
used
think
to
it's
transfer
last.
from here?
It was a quarry,
Right,
chalk quarry.
Chalk.
Went to, I think it was chalk,
Mhm.
chalk or limes. Anyway, yeah, I went to quarry. Went to Quidhampton.
Yep.
But yeah, I think in its final years, it was just used to store some withdrawn slam door stock
Mhm.
in the 90s or something, and I don't think it's seen anything since then. So as you can see, it's all a bit overgrown and
Yeah.
disused now.
There's potential if there's obviously someone makes a scenario in that area where the slam doors were, you could put your slam doors in there.
Yeah,
Something to
definitely.
see. There's a little interesting ground signal. So these are the southern region ground signals, aren't they?
They are, yes.
And this
Yes,
has got a
these are
little
newly
lamp on it.
modelled as well.
I've
Yes,
I've
there are
not.
some
This is the
ones
first
with
time
that.
I've seen this as well. I mean, obviously, I know we had a few of these made, but I didn't realise there was one with a lamp on. That's quite cool. So obviously, that night time, does that actually cast a little light over the signal? Do we know?
I'll have to double check on that. I can't remember if that was added or not.
Hmm.
I'll have a look at that one.
Interesting. My Discord's gone off again. This is really annoying. Hello.
You back?
it just cuts off on its own. It's brilliant. It's been fine all day. I've been on Discord all day and it's not done this once. And now it decided it's time to start playing Silly Beggars.
Oh,
I didn't
well.
catch it though that time. I actually saw it go off, so I was literally straight on the button.
Yeah, I was going to say you were quick getting back on.
It's one of the BMS signals here. We're just going up to. So this again is another new signal to the Just Trains library.
Yes, these are here because the level crossing at Dean Station and at Dean Hill, about a mile or so after that, were upgraded to full barrier crossings in 2015. So it necessitated having signals protecting them, so that they're red until they're closed, and then they can be cleared. So it made them put in some new signals here. So you got some VMS signals.
But that was a repeater as well because it hasn't gone off yet. The actual signal's going up.
It is, yes, that's a repeater, SY6R. And then the one coming up is a 3-aspect signal, actually. And then it goes back to 2-aspect signaling. Just because, obviously, between Dean Station and Dean Hill level crossing, there isn't room to have a red-green signal and then a repeater and then the red-green, so it's just a 3-aspect.
Ash said Skype when. I don't like Skype.
I haven't used Skype in years
no,
and
I
years.
haven't.
It's a throwback.
Thankfully. So you can see the 3 aspect on there. So you got the dots on the side. So that obviously you can see the aspect there. This will change. There we go. And obviously when it changes, you actually notice the LED pattern sort of it sort of like turns the way it changed from green to red. It looked like it rotated. Quite cool. So you can see as well the dots on the side. These remind me a bit of how the London Underground signals work. You've got the little side light on them. I'm presuming this is an extra thing for visibility if you're a bit too close to the signal, like sun glare or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't read up on what their use is. I don't
Interesting.
know, to be honest, but it could be.
Obviously, it corresponds with the main signal, so yeah, they
It
changed,
does,
don't
yeah.
they? Oh, yeah, that's SY6, that one. And this is a station. We've got Dean Station, I believe this is. It is Dean. There we go. Let the train go through and have a look round. Yeah, I forget the land phone now.
Yes. Yeah.
Not even got one then.
No. I mean, my fun fact for this station would be half of it's in Wiltshire and half of it's in Hampshire.
Which half?
The Salisbury ends Wiltshire, and then about halfway along the platform you go into Hampshire.
Right,
and until I think about 5 years ago, until then there was a NSE sign on the platform at the boundary saying "Welcome to Hampshire," where rail partnership works or something like that. And then it was removed, I think, about 5 years ago. So just before this route was set, so it didn't make it in.
That's
but yeah, there used to be a sign halfway down the platform you've just gone through. The eastbound platform. That's an old NSE sign. But yeah, I mean, these stations you'll see now, they're all sort of South Western Railway colours, blue, grey.
You can tell the theme. You can see the actual model style, can't you?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, these transferred from Great Western Railway to South Western Railway in I think April 2020.
Yeah.
Because until I think December 2008, only First Great Western called at these stations, and then SWT, as it was then, introduced a new stopping service that they still do today. But then First Great Western withdrew their services, but they still managed the station until 2020 when it finally transferred.
Okay.
And since being transferred, it's gone from being quite neglected, because obviously First Great Western and GWR didn't really care because they didn't service it.
Yeah.
So it's now got new modern signage, and nowadays, in the last year or so just after the route set, they've added dot matrix passenger information displays and PA systems, I think, as well. So, and platform end gates as well. You can see, although interesting, it's only on one of the platforms at Dean.
Okay.
But yeah, there's been quite a few new additions at Dean and Mottersfont and Dunbridge in the last few years due to that station ownership transfer. But,
bringing right into the modern era.
Exactly. Yes.
Evening, Scott. Yep. Buxton will be still happening. Definitely is. We will be getting a stream on here in due course. So do keep an eye out on that.
Bagatti's just asked the other scenario, is it a rocket run? It's not. It's a GWR Portsmouth Harbour to Cardiff Central, working in the updated Class 165 and 166 that is coming with this route.
Not quite a rocket, but it's a turbo.
Yes. Yeah.
Could strap a few rockets to the back of it.
Could do. Yes.
Now, this little stubber track here, Jack, tell us about this.
This is the old line into Dean Hill Royal Naval Armaments Depot.
Okay.
If you go back towards Dean a bit, if you look into the hillside, there's a load of bunkers.
Oh yes, it's over here, isn't it? Yeah, I see them. Yeah.
Yes, that's the Dean Hill MOD site that stored nuclear weapons up until I think the late 90s, early 2000s. Started then just being used for not really much, and then I think it's all been sold off about 15, 20 years ago, and it's now used for sort of offices and things.
Right.
But yeah, the bunkers are still there in the hillside. That little stubber track and signal is still there. Which is quite interesting, really. You can sort of see where the line goes. You'll reverse into where that stubber track is. You can see it sort of all built up with embankments in case there are any blasts or whatever. And then you reversed along, and you can sort of see where the line would go into the main.
You go along
site.
over here. I presume there's some gates here, so I presume it used to continue onwards. It reverse then go back forward again.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and then that will go into sort of the edge of the complex, and then it would all be transferred onto its own miniature railway system.
Okay.
There used to be an extensive network, many miles, going into all the bunkers and around the site, with its own miniature locomotives and wagons used to transfer everything around, which is quite interesting, but it's not there anymore, sadly.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's a shame. I find it cool that this signal is actually still active. I presume it's probably cheaper for them to keep it active than remove it.
Most likely, yeah. I'll caveat with saying this. I don't know if it still displays an aspect, but I believe it's still there.
Right.
It's quite hard to see in cab ride videos because obviously it's angled away.
Yeah. I remember you on about this years ago, trying to find if I could find anything, you couldn't find anything.
The signal number. Yeah, I made a best guess because there's a gap in the signal number from SY1 to whatever this one is. Is it 3, I think, and then SY5 is the next one, so I assumed it was SY3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's still there. But it's quite hard to see because it's all slightly overgrown now in the latest cab rides. But yeah, I believe it's pretty accurate to what it is.
Excellent. Stegs is looking forward to getting some videos done on the route. That's Cranky Bot, that is. We look forward to seeing them.
Yeah.
We've answered about the rocket.
Made as well.
Yeah, definitely. Very much looking forward to this to driving the Buxton line flying physicalistas. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting that on here as well. So again, that will be coming up in due course. So keep an eye out for our events thumbnails going up on the YouTube channel. There'll be one for that in due course. I think we're up to date there. If there's any questions, again, don't forget, guys, if you've got anything you want to know or anything like that, or any questions at all, just fire away. Mark Hazeldine, good evening, and OG Bone as well. keep it out here just so we can see this lovely scenery. Very lush.
It is, yes.
Nice and rural at the minute until we obviously get
Yep.
towards Eastleigh and Southampton, and obviously it gets very built up.
Yes, it's a bit of a contrast really. You've got this long rural section and you've got the busy built up section, as you say.
So, in comparison to where we are, we're not too far from Romsey. We're just about to go through Mottisfont and Dunbridge, so we'll have a look down there as well. Now I remember this on one of my first. This is way before he was with JT. I had a look at the route, and I remember playing it and finishing here because I think there was the boundary of the scenery ended here yonks ago. I got as far as here.
Yes. Yeah, it was at the foot crossing just before the station was where it ended.
Seems like a lifetime ago.
It does, yes.
A lot's happened in them years.
It has.
A little foot crossing going on there. You got the farm access. I was always impressed with this. I love this little grass in between where the tyre tracks go. I can hear a buzzing as well in the audio. Is that from the substation?
Yeah, it's from the substation. If you're there, there is quite a loud buzz in real life. So put in an audio dome for that.
Oh, cool.
That was something I only did at the weekend. I think I went.
Oh, it was a recent edition.
Audio. Yeah, it was just one of my last jobs to do.
Excellent. So this is Mottisfont and Dunbridge. All sorts of era. Well, I say era because obviously the era is set. So, what's the route setting era-wise? Is it it's around 2020s, isn't it? Something like that.
It's roughly 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, it's set after the freight train lengthening scheme at Southampton, which was done in, I think, April 2021.
Okay.
So it's sort of summer 21, early 22. It's sort of fairly loosely set around that time. But anything that's happened to the route in the last year and a half, I've sort of disregarded. Because obviously the route's been in development so long, I can't keep updating it all. So I've just said it's about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I mean, there's a little... Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're still
to the past days. Is this an old poster? Looks old.
I was just gonna start pointing that out. I was gonna say, if you haven't gone through, yes, I think that's, well, looking at the font, it's old BR or Network Southeast, and then there's an actual sort of silver sticker on it, which is Wessex Trains, which has then been covered over after it went to First Great Western, and then that sign just remained ever since, and it's still there presently, I think. Yeah. Obviously, they got a new sign on the other side, but this one still remains.
Interesting. Yeah, it's nice to see an old relic still standing.
Yes, indeed.
There's all sorts going on here. Just have a little look around. We haven't actually looked at the model yet. So that's your main building. It's obviously a private residence as well now. There's some football nets for anyone who wants to kick about. And just a little shelter on this side.
Yes.
I think the VMS signalling was just in between the other section to here, weren't it? It goes back to bulb signals now.
Yeah, it's all bulb signals now. Yeah. It was it's literally, they're only there protecting the two upgraded level crossings in either direction. Other than that, it's all bulb.
Loads of different stop markers. Like got 16X, obviously those are for the 165s and 6s. Do not
obviously I mean, the 165s, 166 aren't scheduled to stop here in passenger service, but they're there just in case. And it's been used a couple of times when, I can't remember what it was for, it was a year or two ago, but there were loads of issues with the SWR services. They cancelled them. Also, GWR stopped additionally at this station in Dean as well. So it was actually...
It's gone off again. I'm back again. It's really annoying, that. Really annoying. Figure out what's causing that. But sorry about that. So hopefully I haven't missed anything. I think we've caught everything before it cut off.
I think just about.
Yeah. If anything was missed, I do apologise for that. Nigel, is there any more routes in the pipeline? So obviously we've got the Buxton route. That's obviously in the pipeline. That's coming up hot on the heels. So that is what we've got there. Can't talk about TSW unfortunately, so unfortunately it has to be left to one side for now. But yeah, anything else? If anything else comes up, obviously we will put it in the all in development as we usually do. So just keep your eye out. Is all I can say really on that.
I can't see your ETA for the getting to Eastleigh. I just know you're only 50 miles an hour. As long as you're not too far behind, I'm just conscious about AI because you get passed through there. As long as you're going to make that stop, then it's okay.
It says at 1940 and 1937 ETA. So it reckons I'm going to be a couple minutes early still. So
fair enough then. Yeah, I can't see it. It's just cut off with the overlay at the bottom of the screen.
No worries.
I'm just checking.
Route performance. I'm currently getting a 54 FPS at the minute, which is lovely. It's, as you can see, it's running nicely.
Yes, I mean the most intensive areas, Eastleigh, fairly obviously, and Salisbury as well. Just because the track layout is sort of almost doubles back on itself, so it's effectively 2 or 3 full tiles of scenery there.
Yep.
So there's a lot loaded in at both Salisbury and Eastleigh, but yeah, sort of the busiest bits, but it's still good performance.
Yeah, there's, like I say, you can see it's running nicely. Some farms over there. Not too far from Romsey. We'll have a look around Romsey because there's all sorts there as well. There's a little visiting centre there as well, so we can have a look around at that. So the station we'll take a look at. Whatever else we can find.
Yeah, I mean you've mentioned it already. There's the old Romsey signal box, which we can take a look at. Yeah.
Is it did they pay £1 or something? I was reading to move that down to something really cheap.
Yes, they bought it off British Rail for £1. Yes.
Bargain.
Correct.
But it didn't cost them £1 to move it down from track level.
No.
10 power corner. Obviously we've got the junction, it's down to 35 mile an hour.
Yeah. It's 35 on the single line for freight, 60 for passenger, but only 35 for freight, so it's quite a slow bit all the way through to Eastleigh now.
So the detail, we've got plenty of detail on the roadside. There's all sorts of road signs, and there's little scenes for you to be looking out for. Just pause for a second, just have a look around here, so you can see obviously just a bin. There's a bin now. It's bin day around here. There's all sorts, all the street signs and stuff like that.
Yes, where you can visibly see sort of the roads from the railway. I have tried to sort of get in that detail.
Makes for a nice screenshot as well. That if you just set in that view, you got your are they telegraph poles at them?
Yes.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? So you got your telegraph poles, you've got all that sort of detail going on as well, and plenty of detail in the gardens as well. So stuff like that just makes for a nice little picture, in my opinion. We will obviously look at this station in a second as well. That detail obviously transfers across the full route. Wherever you jump out as there's a bridge, and there's always a bit of detail to be looked at. So the line splits here. So to the right will take you to Southampton via Redbridge. We're going to take the left line out, obviously, and come through via Eastleigh. I will go back to look at the station. I just got through that speed drop there. I say restriction. It's not a restriction. It's just a it's a speed drop. So station. Anyone for a brew? There's a cafe here. It's not open today though. There's a station cafe there though.
I think it was shut for most of COVID. I think it reopened at the end of last year or something. So technically, when this was set, it was out of business really. But now it has gone in as a new cafe. Fairly recently. So
I'm noticing as well.
Yeah,
I've some I can't get my words out. Have some changes happened to the station signage? I'm noticing it like sort of the newer style BRs that like they rebranded back to BR, didn't they? Is that sort of some stuff that's transferred through onto this, or has that always been like that? I can't quite remember.
There's not really been any changes at this station since for about 3 years or something since I originally made it.
Right, yeah. Not sure if that
But
was a new sign or not there with the
I'm not
BR
sure
logo.
which sign you're looking at. Oh,
That,
with the 4 posters.
yeah,
No, that's been there
it's
ever
always been
since
like
the start.
that. I thought there might
Yeah.
have been a well, that's what where they rebranded back to the BR in inverted
No.
commas. I use that loosely.
No, I'm not sure how long it's been there in reality, but no, it's always been in there
Mhm.
in the route. That's what I've
All
always
right.
modelled it as.
It's been that long since I've had a good drive and look round. It's hard to remember what I've seen
Yeah.
and what I haven't. Got the
Yeah.
old water tower here as well.
Yes, that's now the gents' toilets, I think.
Ah, it is.
And I think over the winter, a lot of the roof panels blew off a bit. And I think it was half without a roof for quite a while, but I think
Oh
it's all
dear.
mended now. But yeah, I mean, here we can see as well. This station has PIS, so you can have a look at the screens that are there, which are new for this route.
Ah yes.
These were kindly given to us for use by Dovetail Games. It's the same PIS models that they did for Trains in World, and it's also in a couple of their newer UK routes, but without any clocks or text on. But we've got them here with clocks and 2 different messages scrolling through on there, which just adds a bit more detail, I think.
I think there's another one. Is there 2 different types that you do? That one's got engineering work, so are they different for each side? That's
There's
engineers.
2 versions of this model. There's the black version, which is what's used throughout, and there's a yellow version, which isn't actually used anywhere, but it's the same model, so it's got the text. And then there's the flat screen version, which I think is used in 1 or 2 places in Salisbury and maybe Eastleigh or Southampton. I'm not sure. But no, that doesn't have any text or clocks on, unfortunately.
No. There we go. It's just the station car park level.
And there's just another small detail at this station. There's on each platform there's some blue heritage plaques. I don't know if you've moved on from there now.
See if I can find them.
Just some extra detail.
Ah, found one. There's one. There we go.
Yeah, I mean they're the same on both platforms.
Excellent.
Just a bit about the history of the station, really.
Nice. Nice detail. Excellent. Down below, somewhere around here, is the little centre that you can come and visit. There's sort of a bit of track, some signals, and the old signal box that's been transferred down.
Yes.
At the price of not £1, but £1 to purchase.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you actually go in the signal box then? Do they open it up, or is it just there as a?
Yeah.
They do.
You go in. They've set it up as a simulation, so the track and signals outside link up to the levers inside.
Oh right.
You can control them.
I
went
so
there when I was.
This.
Yeah. I went there when I was quite young. I don't know, maybe 10 plus years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for the open, and I think there's also like a simulation in one of the other buildings there, like a mock thing, like a miniature one, but I don't know if that was there when I went many years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the signal box was originally situated on the next to the track, but on the other side of the track, so it had to be lifted over one night.
Right.
And then yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It took them, I think, a little while to get it all up and running, but it's been there for, 20, 30 years at least now, I think.
Excellent. Yeah. That's a little bit of info there. So if you live in the area, you didn't know about it, go and visit it. It's a bit far for me, but you never know. Maybe one day. Stuff like that's cool.
I think they're open.
Nice.
I think they're open once a month or something, or it might be more around that sort of maybe school holidays. It might be more often. I don't know, but yeah, they are open regularly, and they've got a pretty cool website as well. It's got loads of signalling diagrams from the area from I don't know 100 years ago, which is quite interesting to look at. You can see how much more expansive it was. Obviously, Romsey had its own yard. All the other stations had their yards as well.
Yeah.
It was Kimbridge where we went through between Mossfont and Dunbridge and Romsey, where there's that other level crossing. You see it's sort of quite wide there. There's that track running down the sides because it used to be 4 tracks there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and there used to be a junction off there on the Spratt and Winkle line up to and over that way, which shut with Beeching. But yeah, it used to be quite a few.
Full of jam-packed information this stream tonight. So,
it is, yeah.
Every day's a school day, as they say. I've learned quite a lot this evening. So we'll have to do an exam. See if I remember it all. Alright, what have we got? So good to see the zone markers. Zone marks. Notice the zone markers on the platforms. Yes, those are on there. So yeah, I didn't actually look at them properly, to be fair. But yeah, well noticed.
Yes, they are relatively new additions to the station.
Now, I don't normally do this on stream, but I just want to double check. I think we might. Oh no, are we missing something there? Just to double check it, because I think there's a bridge missing. Just so you can check up at your end.
I'll wait for the stream delay.
There's a little culvert
I can see which bridge you're talking about as it's coming up.
Okay.
I'll just wait till you look around it.
Obviously, this isn't a release version. This is obviously. I'm just going to point this out now while Jack says, so we can make a note of it, so we can make sure it's there on release.
Looks like it's missing. That's
I'm not sure
something that's in the JTCL.
Okay.
So looks like something hasn't gone in there.
No worries.
Yeah.
One to make a note of.
Yes. Yeah, that
will be fixed for the release. Just to put that out
yes,
there.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. No, that was one of the bridges that was on Hope Valley. I just made a new version of it without any end side, so it's just the bridge top, but it seems that hasn't gone into the CL for some reason.
No worries, we'll get that sorted.
Yes.
We'll ensure that's in. Other variants of those destination boards that stand on the platform rather than on the canopy. I know there's the blank versions, but will there be any with messages? So
yes.
There is there?
No.
Or no?
So the ones that stand, I think the slow line train spotting means the that same style of board, but ones with a post rather than a canopy hanger. In which case, yes. So if you own Huddersfield Line by DTG or the latest Chatham Main Line route, if you look at the PIS boards that are available in there, this route comes with the exact same ones, just with text on for the sort of that variant, but no text. It's exactly the same for the flat screen variant. But yes, if you want to know exactly what you're getting, just have a look at one of those routes, and it's the same models.
Yeah, excellent. So we're heading through to Eastleigh now, which is 5 miles away. Now, it's gone off again. I know it has, for some strange reason. We're having all bizarre occurrences here this evening. I'm back again. It's becoming a recurring theme, is this? There'll be a talk with Discord somehow. I don't know. There won't be a talk with Discord. I'm just making it up. But yeah, I'll have to figure out what's going on because it's really strange. How it's
it is, yeah. Out. I haven't seen this before. But...
No, I'll say I've seen it before, but I didn't see it at all today. Whilst I've been in Discord, I say all day working, and it's been perfectly fine. It was last week where I was having some issues with it, but not helpful when we were obviously trying to do this. So apologies to anyone that may see something or hear something get cut out. I sort of notice now when it's doing it, and I see the thing go off. So I think what happens is when it goes off and I then click on the game, it then cuts out. So I'm waiting purposely for you not to be talking to click the screen, if that makes sense, so that we can catch it and then get back in, so we're not missing anything.
Yeah.
So
no, I did notice it get cut off as soon as I finished talking, so it was well timed.
It's a pain. So first weekend of every month, the Signal Box Centre is open. So excellent. I'll have to have a look at the website. It sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on this line, obviously it's single line now, but you can see clearly that it used to be double tracked with how wide it is and the bridges as well.
Yeah, the track's been centralised, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's been centralised at some points, and other points it's not centralised.
Right, so it sort of slews over. And...
It is, yeah. So if they wanted to redouble it, they'd have to rip up what they've got now and start again, rather than... I don't quite understand why they do it that way. Why don't they just lift up one track and then it saves it for the future? But I'm sure they've got their reasons. But yeah, you'll notice at some point you're on the left-hand side, then you might be on the right, then you're in the middle. So yeah, I mean, it was singled in the early 70s, I believe.
Oh, so it's been a fair while then.
It has.
I suppose it was to keep the line open in some respects.
It was, yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, Chandler's Ford station shut. Well, it was closed by Beeching in the 60s, I think, and then it became a freight-only line, so it was singled in the early 70s, and then obviously 2003 was when Chandler's Ford reopened and passenger service was reintroduced between Chandler's Ford and Eastleigh.
Yeah.
And then obviously through to Romsey as well. So yeah.
Excellent. Chandler's Ford, I don't think it's too far away either.
Not
around the next curve and halfway down, about halfway down the next straight section.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming from this direction, you know it's coming up because there's a sign a quarter of a mile away and half a mile away warning you.
You'll see that. So I think it says half, then Chandler's Ford underneath it. Am I right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Look out for them. Yeah, Prof definitely. It just doesn't like the route. Apparently, it's not on, is it? And I might have worn Discord out. I do a lot of talking in the day. Mark will vouch. Do I still stream on Twitch? Not for just trains. I do personally on my own side of things, but not on the JT side at the minute. We've decided to keep it on YouTube. It's just easier. And also, we don't lose the stream either on YouTube, so it'll always be on here. Whereas on Twitch, we would lose it after I think 14 days. So otherwise, I would have to start downloading the streams and re-uploading it. It just cuts a lot of work out as well in that respect. Have we tried the AP vegetation pack on this route? I haven't personally. I haven't got it. I think Jack's got the pack. Have you? Does it work with this for anyone that has the vegetation?
Yeah, it does work. I'm
so
not
if you have
it, with it, obviously, as I want to develop with it, but I have tried it with it, and some of our testers have been running with it as well.
Yep.
And they haven't reported any issues.
So if you've got that, it'll work on here for those that have that pack. Interesting little bridge. There's a little footbridge going over the back there. It has gone again. It's going to go in a second, but I bet you can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Yeah, it will cut. It will cut at some point. So just tell me. I've just seen the. What it does is, if I've got it over Discord, it flashes back and it just disappears off of the screen, and then it'll just all of a sudden it'll just cut itself off. So like that. It's just done it then.
Yep, just as you
just
predicted.
like that. I can sense it now. Just one in there. So Bugatti's cool lands has noted that the bridge apparently is wrong with the footpath, so it might be worth. I don't know if it's worth having a look at that at all.
Which
that
is
one
that the one we've just gone
before,
under?
yeah.
Talking about?
That should be something to note maybe down the line.
Okay, I mean I thought it was pretty accurate. If you can post any links to photos or anything, but I mean I've made it from the cab rides of Google Maps, and it's not a custom bridge, but it's a brick arch bridge in reality. But
yeah, it's been made. It's been put together with bits and pieces that are available in the asset library.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got any concrete evidence that it's completely incorrect and it should be some metal thing, then please enlighten me. But yeah, I wasn't aware of any issues.
Yeah, quarter mile. This is Chandler's Ford. Swept version 2 out of the box. I think if you've got Southampton to Bournemouth anyway, the weather time of day system will come from that route, I'm presuming. So yeah, it should probably just work out of the box. I think it has done for me, because I've obviously, you can see it is AP weather on here just through the way the weather system works on my setup. If you don't obviously have AP's weather, then you'll get the base default Southampton to Bournemouth skybox. Obviously, if you have the other one, it'll obviously overwrite.
Yeah, that's all correct, I believe.
Pause a second there, just so we don't miss anything. So it's got a footbridge, but you won't be going over it. I presume if they just put that in just in case they ever open up the other side.
Well, I assume
for
it's
maintenance.
just connectivity to get across to the other side. The public can use it as a public footbridge.
Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon. I didn't see that set of stairs.
Just to get to the other side of the track. But I mean, yeah, they've also built it wide enough. Should they ever reopen the second platform, they can.
I was totally blind there. I didn't see them steps. Sorry. I thought it was just an access them for workers. I didn't realise it was a little entrance exit to the car park. No. Apologies.
No worries. And if you have a look at as well here, the building has an interior. It was a mainly sort of all glass windows, so I thought I can't really just do that with the silver texture.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a basic interior as well.
That's nice. It's a nice little feature. It looks great as well. Is the route FPS intensive? Because on Hope Valley Line I have to turn it down. I'm running on full settings at the minute. I mean, game unpaused, it's running at about 50 FPS, about 42 currently. We are getting towards Eastleigh now. As Jack said at the beginning of the stream, there's a couple of areas that obviously are a bit more of an impact on the performance. Eastleigh is one of them. I think Salisbury is another one as well, just because of the intensity of the areas, which is understandable when you do get a built-up area that is quite vast in size. There's a lot of track and a lot of scenery going on. Obviously, you will see there is a dip here and there, but at the minute it's running perfectly fine. There's no. If it's under 30 FPS, that's when you start noticing things. But over 30, it's pretty silky smooth, really. I mean, it's 42 in the cab currently, as we are approaching Eastleigh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm away at university at the moment because I'm a student, so I'm working off a laptop. So I'm developing this off the laptop for most of the time, and around Eastleigh, I think I get 25 FPS. So if you're on a proper PC spec, which a lot of people will, then it should easily be above that.
Yeah.
So just a bit of perspective.
Don't know if it's just me, but FYI, whenever you are panning around fast, everything goes pixelated. It might be the bit rate potentially for the stream. Luckily, I'm presuming whilst we're driving around and in normal speed, it's alright. I'll try not to do too much flying around if it is doing that.
And the only time I noticed it was when you were flying through the footbridge, which is obviously it's a mesh thing, so that
it might be.
ruins the bit rate. But
that might have been a bit of an impact on that side.
Yeah, no, it looks fine otherwise. It was just that. It's a bit like when you get the confetti effect on the screen.
Yeah.
Video's terrible.
We are just approaching Eastleigh now. So we've got to stop at junction signal E32. The line goes back double here. So we have approximately we'll have about 8 minutes ish. So we've got plenty of time where we can have a nice little look around. Yeah, the mileage posts, so those as well have the quarter, half, and 3/4 markings on these as well. So that's milepost 74. I said I'm not going to do much of this fast flying around, but I'm gonna have to do it a second just so I can get back to another post. Sorry. It'll sort itself. So you can see here there's a little dash for 74 1/4 mile. So that theme runs along the whole route. You'll see all them.
Yeah, and obviously that's mileage from. Yeah, that's obviously mileage from London Waterloo.
Okay.
And you'll notice that between Redbridge and Romsey, the mileage is actually only about 22 miles, I think. It's because that line is measured from the Spratt and Winkle line I mentioned earlier, which ran up to Andover, so that's measured differently.
Okay.
But yeah, the rest of the route's all measured from London Waterloo.
Right. We'll get onto the marker and then we'll have a look around. Obviously, you can see it's very built up around here. There's a lot going on. So you've obviously got all different tracks coming in off at different tiles or in the same sort of area as well, so it all plays a part. Oh, AWS going off there. Make sure we don't miss that. Loads of clutter, as you can see. There's loads of bits going on. There's something to see sort of wherever you turn with this. You'll not be spoiled for choice. You will be spoiled for choice. That's nice. You will be spoiled for choice. Get that right. Let's get that terminology correct.
Yes.
You'll be spoiled for choice for what to see. We're going to stop on the marker just about here. And we'll have a look around.
Nigel's just asked, have you more work to do on this route before release, or is this finished? it's pretty much finished. Tom's not on a release version, as we noticed there was an asset missing, so there will be more builds for that. Yeah, as the final few issues are picked up by testers, then yeah, so it's not quite a release build. It's almost finished. All the scenery is here. It's just bug fixing really, and night lighting as well, which I'm working on at the moment. That'll be done in the next couple of days, and then yeah, then it's just that's pretty much
anything now
it,
at this
really.
point. Yeah, if there's any little odd minor bits that come up and in testing, it'll be obviously quick fixes and new build made. So lots of yards. Obviously, there's not tons of AI around here. Community scenarios, obviously, they'll be pretty much more ramped up in terms of lots of trains in there. But we've not gone OTT in silly with them, just for the fact that we could go full ham and fill these up with all sorts of stuff. But then obviously the requirements will start getting a bit hefty. So we've been reasonable, and plus we're not driving this way anyway. So there's a couple of bits to see, but this isn't obviously the focus for this scenario. This is obviously the top end anyway. Now this is the, am I right? This is the welded rail terminal.
If you're up at the yellow and green bit, yes.
Yeah. So this
yes,
is where
there's a sign plaque on either end of the building there.
Oh, is it?
Yes, one of them's real and one of them's fictional, but okay. I thought I'd add a nice touch in.
Now then, which one's real and which one's not?
Should be fairly easy to work out. I'll give it away. The one naming the location is the real, and then the other one, when I was researching the area, I thought I'd put in a little plaque for an incident that happened there. I don't know which one you're looking at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at the instant one. Oh, no, I didn't know that. Oh, that's yeah. Things you learn.
Yeah, not a pleasant way to go, really.
No, definitely not. So this is where I'm trying to think what they call the train. There's a name for the train. The huge these trains, obviously the continuous welded rail that runs on these wagons.
Yes, yeah, I know what you mean.
The name of the actual type of train is off the top of my head. But I know it in my head. You'll have seen these trains running around. Obviously, this is where they get loaded up. This is obviously where they originate from. So that is this part of the depot. You see over there as well, that comes all the way through and runs right down there. So gives you an idea of the length of the trains.
Yes, and I think there's services from the Midlands somewhere, or it might be or up north somewhere. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think there's services bringing steel down here to be made into the rail. I'm not sure if they still run, but they certainly, I have seen them.
I'm trying to think where it could be.
Yeah.
Would it be Scunthorpe?
I don't know, is it Scunthorpe, I think?
Could be Scunthorpe.
Might be Scunthorpe. I think it is. I don't know if they still run, but certainly they have run.
I was thinking Toten for something then, but I think Toten's the long ballast cleaning trains that I think run from there.
Maybe, yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
You got the this is the power signal box, I think, is it, on the junction?
Yes, if it's a big sort of black brick building, it will be. Yes. Yeah, so that covers all the way up to Mottisfont and Dunbridge. It covers. I'm not sure how far north it goes. Is it up to Micheldever or Winchester, maybe? I'm not sure. And it goes all the way through to, I think, just before Brockenhurst. It's a fairly big area.
Little signalling centre here as well. So this is a network rail signalling point.
Yeah, that's S&T training for training for that.
Another one for you just to double check on. I've got a milk bottle just placed down there. I'll take a screenshot of it now. I can pass it on to you just so we can just double check on what that is, obviously for release build. Moving through, we have the station. I'll probably have to pause in a second because time has literally nearly got to time to departure already.
Wow.
But this is the station. It's quite a brutal looking piece of architecture, really, isn't it? In the way what's on that middle bit, on that island platform.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure on the history. I'm not sure when it was built, but yeah, it is quite sort of imposing, really. I've just seen the milk bottle come up. It's a static level crossing barrier.
Okay.
So I'll see why that's not been added to the CL either. I guess maybe a couple of files got missed. But yeah.
Again,
No,
we'll
I
make
mean
sure it's there, and it'll be there for when we get it out.
yes. Yeah, I mean on the car park side, there used to be another platform, so you can sort of see the curved platform that's on the yard side. They used to be the same on the
Yep.
car park side, so it used to be 4 platforms.
Yeah, I can
So
certainly
that
make that
shut
out. Yep.
quite a while ago. I'm not quite sure when. But yeah, there's obviously a bit. Sort of the yards were a bit bigger as well on that left side, and there was sort of yards around. I think where that Audi and stuff now is, round towards the Chelmsford line. That was all sort of some sidings there.
Okay.
You can see where your stops at the signal on the Chelmsford line. You can see it actually used to be a 4-track bridge as well.
Yep. You can see
and then
the extra portals.
and then it went, then it went down to 2-track.
All right.
But yeah, it's still obviously a very large area.
Yeah,
Still
very
plenty of
busy
siding.
area. Very busy area as well. Loads of freight, and there's all sorts that goes on around here.
Yeah.
A hive of activity
I mean,
in these scenarios.
yes. Yeah, I mean, you'll have noticed that freight line, the train that's leaving the station now will stop there because it's a crew change point.
Okay.
And it's also, so that's for freight line. It's also a crew change point for, I think, pretty much everything. GBRF, DB as well.
Okay.
They will use it as a crew change point. So it's
Excellent.
quite interesting. You'll get a freight line driver will drive from the docks at Southampton to Eastleigh or vice versa. So it'll do just a short hop and then someone else would take over.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. But obviously, you're going to do the full run through.
I will definitely show the TRSMD in a minute. What we're going to do, because we're going to drive up to the platform, we have to stop at the platform for a driver change. So we'll do that, and when we stop at the station, we'll have a look further up at the other part of the yard. I think this is the last time we come here today, isn't it? So the other scenario don't come back down here. So we'll have a look at that before we disappear. Excuse me. Fraser, good evening. Very well. I'm very well, and I'm presuming you're well as well, Jack.
Yes, very well.
Excellent. Scenario creators are going to have a whale of time. They are indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing what people put together for this. There's no end of possibilities. Obviously, I'm looking for some sort of older era stuff from here personally. So exciting. I might even have a double myself. Have to go and find
I mean,
some
it's quite good,
timetables.
really. Sort of the core route to Salisbury hasn't really changed in decades, really. I mean, obviously, there's been the level crossing changes with the new signals, but that doesn't really affect anything. There's not been any major infrastructure. So, I mean, over the years, while I've been developing, I have made backdated scenarios for my personal use going back 20, 30 years, and it's all worked well. So,
Excellent.
yeah, it's definitely the scope for that.
Yeah, I will show you Southampton Airport Park as well, certainly. Yeah, we'll make sure we show everything that we go through. We will stop and look at them. Main purpose of this stream, obviously, because we've been the preview, we want to show as much as we can possibly show. Obviously, we won't be going down to Bournemouth this evening. There's been minor changes on that, which at some point in the back end of the stream, I'm sure Jack will be able to give you a little list of bits and pieces off the top of his head that he knows he's done.
Yeah, certainly.
Is Eastleigh to Reading on the cards? I don't think there's anything on the cards at the minute after this.
No, nothing on
Who
the cards.
Who knows what will happen in the future? I look forward to it, Sammy.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'll be doing is take a bit of a break from route building for a little bit. Just so I've been working on this for so long. Just clear the mind, and then I'll see if I come back with anything else. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. There's nothing set in stone.
YBZG, I presume, is that Zane? Good evening, Zane.
Yeah, I look forward to some of your backdated scenarios, Sammy. Your ones on Southampton to Bournemouth are really good, so I can't wait to see what you do on this one.
Yeah, I've driven a number of them myself on my own side of streams, definitely. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what comes from that. Eastleigh to Basingstoke. There's a few ideas that people have thrown into the chat here. I mean, to be fair, we look at what people like to see, so all feedback is taken. You never know, something might come of it. Just be a case of wait and see, really, if anything transpires.
Yep.
See what Cranky Paws put in there.
I have, yeah. Making his local route.
Yeah. I mean, it's the law. You've got to have your local route in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you should start making it
Hello,
yourself.
Blackpool branches.
I used my initiative. I wanted to see my local route in the game. I produced this, so
Exactly.
give it a go. You never know where you may get to.
So this is the obviously we're stopping here to pick up Mr. Driver over here. So whilst we're doing that, I'll pause and we'll continue looking further along the depot area. So some more aggregate areas here, obviously where the load up stone and that. Now there is a line that goes in that direction. Where does that go to, Jack?
I assume you're talking about the one that goes down to single line. Obviously a
I think
bit of stream delay.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that goes to Fareham and on to Portsmouth.
Okay.
And at Fareham it joins up with the line from St Denny's.
Yep.
So it sort of
It's
almost
like
forms sort of a triangle.
a big triangle, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you get services from Eastleigh through to Portsmouth via Fareham and then Southampton through to Portsmouth via Fareham, but the two different routes. You can't go between them because they're it's a bit like Romsey Junction. It splits in one direction only.
Okay.
But yeah, you get some freight workings on there as well from Botley.
Yeah.
So stone workings, they'll go in and use those yards on the left of the station where there's sort of the big ballast piles, and then they go through to Westbury as well.
I'm just going to have a little move around all the buildings around here just so you can see what's been put together. Now I don't have a clue what all these buildings are. Now I think it's this one they usually... Is this where they do the repaints of locos?
If it says Arlington Fleet Works, that's the paint shop. It's a small building in front of the big one.
Ah, there we are.
I believe that's the paint shop.
Yep.
But yeah, the main depot area there, that's Eastleigh Works.
Yep.
It's now owned by Arlington, I believe. So yeah, you see lots of old stock in there, Mark 3s, 313s, Pacers, etc. Yeah.
LSL have a fair bit of stuff that come around from it. I think they've just had that ScotRail 37 done here, haven't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's
yeah, I mean, there's a set of scenarios I've made, which obviously it's not in the route, but it's doing a Midland Pullman tour. So we've got the ECS coming down, it stables here overnight, then it goes and does the tour.
Yeah.
Then it stables here, and then it goes back north. But yeah, it's used for a lot of stuff these days. In the InDev post last year, when I sort of revealed this area, I did some of the screenshots. They had a load of stock in there, which gives you an idea of what you might expect. But I mean, it's constantly changing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of pictures on Flickr that you can soon find what's going on and happening around here. There's always a picture posted.
Yeah, and then over to the right-hand side of that, towards the airport, you've then got Eastleigh Depot, Arriva Train Care, as Jake has said in the chat.
Yep.
Which is a stabling point for cross-country voyagers at the moment.
Okay. So that's the big open area, is it? The big open sidings, yep.
Yeah, at the end of the runway.
Yep.
And yeah, previously, I think you had a load of 67s in there. I think that might have been when Arriva Trains Wales had 67s or something, or quite a while ago. I think might have been before that. But there used to be 67s stabled in there by the shed that's there. And 5 years ago, used to be a lot of IETs stabled in there when they were being introduced as storage. I think these days there's a lot of 701s in there for South Western Railway.
There shouldn't be as many of them in there now. They've started going out on them. They've started going to service.
Yeah, first service last week. But yeah, it's seen a lot of different stuff in there over the years, but it's still sort of regularly used day in, day out for cross-country voyages.
Now, it's quite interesting as well here, because obviously it loops around. So do they sort of come in one direction into the depot and then stable? Sort of like loop around?
In regular use, it's just they come in from the station, sort of parallel to the main line and into the things, and they reverse out the same way, I believe. Okay. That back loop, I don't think it's used very often.
Right, okay. So there's a train wash down here, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything scheduled to go around there.
Okay.
But some stuff has. I mean, there's a rail tour scenario I made from about 30, 40 years ago that it goes in and does a full circle of that loop.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. So there is some use for it if you find old rail tours or other
if you go hunting for it. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure there's anything regularly scheduled there.
Okay.
And you notice there's sort of various bits of third rail throughout both
Yeah.
the train care depot and Eastleigh Works itself, which I've replicated for where it is, where I can see it on the satellite view.
Yeah.
Some lines have it, some don't. Some bits they have a random bit just in the middle of nowhere, which is a bit odd. But
Yeah, you can
yeah,
see
mostly these
here.
days it's
Can't you?
diesel stuff in there, so it's,
Okay.
the third rail's not really used.
Interesting. There's all sorts going on here. Again, scenario developers heaven.
Yes, indeed.
Right, we better get back in the cab because it will be time to go.
Zane's just asked about Southampton Eastern Docks. If you look at the route map, you'll see that there's track there, but it's not included. There's no track markers there. It was something I did a couple of years ago. One weekend I thought it'd be a great idea. Let's have the track. That won't take too long. And then I did it and I realised actually it's just going to need a load of custom assets. So it's not included, but the track's still there if anyone ever wanted to do anything with it. But it's not got scenery. I think it's got some concrete blocks and a couple of car parks, but that's about
Yeah, I
it.
think that's about right.
So it's not really
think-
usable in its current state, but it's there if you really, really wanted to do anything.
Yeah, I think as well. We looked as well at what the scenario viability would be. I think was there a car train, but it only used a small section of
Yeah.
the route. So
Yeah.
for the amount of work that it would need for the scenario gain, it wouldn't be massive in terms
No.
of what the route setting is. So the
Yeah.
decision was made to
I
obviously
mean,
admit it.
yeah. I mean, it's a car train up to Halewood Jaguar, I think. There might
Yeah.
be one other, but it's 1 or 2 trains a day, and you can only run it between Eastleigh and Eastern Dock, so it's not very far. If in the future we happen to extend further north towards sort of Basingstoke, etc., then maybe it's something we'd consider. But as we said, there's no plans for any extensions.
Right. Next port of call. Port being a rather apt term is maritime terminal. Also, just to note here, we've all got some SPAD indicators that have been bagged over.
Yes, yeah, they're using the existing JT SPAD indicator models, but they're obviously Newton model bags and they're not track links because they're disconnected. So, but yeah, they're still in situ, which is quite interesting.
Okay, it's one of them. So, if as Jack said, if anything ever came from it, where it maybe the route would be extended or something like that, it could be a case that we could look adding that in, maybe. But yeah, at the minute, obviously, no. Is the answer on that one, sadly.
Yeah.
Again, I'll just show the route map just for anyone that's just jumped in and joined us to see what's going on. So, Salisbury is up to your left over here, and then we've come around and along this line here, come off at Romsey, gone across the top to Eastleigh, and now we're heading down to Southampton Maritime Terminal here for the first one. The second part, we're going to join here, and we're going to come in through St Denis, and then we're going to go back up to Salisbury.
Just noticed another issue, which I've noted. I think Jake's noticed it as well. The slash on the slash on the signal ID for the SPAD indicators doesn't have the correct texture for some reason, because that was a new character I added. It seems it hasn't gone in the CL. But yeah, Jake's picked it up as well, so well spotted.
Well noted, well spotted. Are there back versions of normal signals? I don't believe there is on this route.
No. And the bag is part of the SPAD indicator asset, I believe it. I don't think it's a separate asset for you to use.
West Docks. Is that included? Where's West Docks? I have no idea where that is.
Yes.
Is that the one down here?
That was included in the DTG route.
Yeah,
it's the one that curves away and goes down to the seafront.
Yeah,
it hasn't had any scenery changes really, so it's just as it was. But yeah, you get container trains down. I think it's DB container trains, and you get GBRF workings from Mountfield there, which I think is it Stone or something?
I think
it uses
or something like that, yeah,
uses the new JNA wagons.
Yeah. Oh, the blue ones.
Model, which yes.
Those are available off the JT website. If
they are indeed.
Interested. I do see some usage actually on the Buxton Peak Forest route, which someone's just asked about that. Steve Smedley's just asked how that's going. It's going very well. Currently in testing. We will be running a stream on that route in due course, so keep your eye out. As obviously that moves forward. The finishing line is in sight for that one as well, to be fair, just to put a note on there so it isn't too far off.
Mark's asked as well about the 166 EP. Yes, that's the next scenario, so
yep,
not long to wait for that.
Properly, yeah, we'll give that a drive, and Jack can explain everything that's happened with that, and we'll demonstrate and show it off, and do a full run between St Denis and Salisbury.
And gypsum, that's it. Thanks Ash and Sammy for that.
Gypsum. Oh, is that what? Right.
Yes.
The myth and the legend. That is the 166 EP.
Yeah, so as Ash says, you pass one scenario of gypsum working, but it doesn't use the new JNA wagons. It uses, I think, the MJAs from the Class 70 pack, if I recall
the green
correctly.
Ones.
Yes.
Yeah, MJA. They come with the Class 70, yeah. Just gonna let the train out the platform so we can look properly. Just going to say, how far east does the line from St Denis go? It just goes over the river. Is it over the river? I think, is it? Or yeah,
the River Itchen.
Straight just over there. It don't go too far. It's again, that's just a feeder line really. But the scenario we're going to do actually comes in on a rolling start, so it actually drives in around the curve into the station, through the station. Doesn't stop there. It's I think first port call Southampton Central.
Yes.
So Southampton Airport Parkway. Is another one of the new stations.
This is another station with a bit of an interesting history. It was a halt to start with, and I think it shut for a bit, and then it reopened, and then it all got modernised, I don't know, 20 years ago or something, to what you see today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's had a bit of a turbulent history, really. But yeah, this is a primary station, really. I think all trains stop here, pretty much.
I've been here.
Yeah.
I changed here once to a cross-country service many years ago. On my way back from Weymouth. On my way back through to Manchester to get home. Years ago.
Interesting.
I've also noticed that Alex has made his way into the old station glass. He always gets in a picture. Yeah, when he did his research. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Ash has said to keep the requirements down, but it was also these scenarios were made before those new wagons were available.
Yeah.
At that point, it had all sort of been tested. It's too late, really, for us to go back and change it and add new stuff. But yeah, I mean, they're fairly similar. It's one AI, so. But yeah.
But that said, the wagons are available if you want to pick a copy of those up off the website. I think I would say how much they are. I'm not sure how much they are.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think they're about £6 or £7. I think. Let's have a look. Eanos, EANOS. Nope, that's not how you spell it.
$6.99. Just have a look. So.
I can't spell them. I say Eanos or something like that. I can't apparently spell what they are.
I mistyped the first time. I hit the I and the O key at the same time.
But yeah, if anyone wants to pick a copy of them wagons up, go for it. Again, say they'll see use on this route, so keep your eye out on scenarios. Again, they'll be seen on the Buxton Peak Forest route as well. They are actually used on one of the scenarios. I think from Dowlow. Some planes as well there.
Yeah, I mean, the airport itself, it's had a bit of uncertainty because the primary operator was Flybe, and then start of COVID, they went into administration, and then they came back for a bit, and then they went again. But I think flights are starting to pick up again. I think BA, British Airways, have got some flights, and there's some local flights to sort of the Channel Islands and other regional destinations in the UK. But yeah, the airport's starting to pick up again now. There was a bit of a downturn during COVID.
Get back on the train because it looks like it's going to get away from me. I think Swaveling's coming up as well.
Yes, it will be. That's good to hear, Tino. You were there yesterday and it's very good.
Excellent.
Pleased to hear that.
Excellent. Yeah, Partway is in brackets.
It is, but yeah, it's had several names through the year. It's gained Parkway, it's lost Parkway. It's
is it?
gone into brackets. It's not, yeah. Yeah, and you've just passed under the M27, the motorway you've gone under.
Oh, there's a bit of a delay, isn't there? I'm just at Swaveling.
Yeah.
I'll start looking around Swaveling whilst you're catching up.
Yeah, the time at the moment in the scenario is 19:57:56, so I don't know how
Christ, I didn't
much of a
realise it was
delay
such
it
a
is.
delay. I'm 19:58:35.
Oh wow, about
Yeah.
40 seconds almost. Crikey.
Discord, not Discord. I'll blame Discord. Well, we'll just blame Discord for that. It's a huge footbridge. Like, Christ,
It is,
it is
yeah.
a big one actually.
Goes across the road.
It goes everywhere. Everywhere you can get to, it goes to.
Yeah, I mean, something you notice about Swathing Station is you might notice the station buildings quite set back from the track and the platforms. And that
Yeah.
was because it was originally planned. Well, it was built as 2-track, but they had plans to make it 4-track.
Right.
So they built the building far enough back to fit 2 more tracks in.
Right.
They didn't have to rebuild it, but then obviously it never transpired.
Okay.
It just sort of has a long, thin corridor connection from the station building to the canopy. Obviously, the station building is now a private residence. Actually, no, it's not a private residence. I tell a lie. It's still in use as a station building, but I don't think it's staffed anymore.
Okay.
But
interesting.
so yeah, but it's not a
Learned
private.
something
It
new
is
again.
still a station building, definitely. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's actually open at all. But yeah, just an interesting thing. It shows that they have plans to make it 4-track all the way 150 years ago, or whatever, when they built it, but it never came out.
Interesting. What is the 166 EP? We will be showing that off on the next scenario, so keep with us, and all will be shown.
Yeah, I mean, Mark's saying there, interesting history facts. All of this stuff has just been from developing the route. A lot of the stuff I didn't actually know a few years ago, but just through developing the route and getting research for the various things, it just sort of builds up your knowledge.
Yeah, you find that actually when we build our routes, like with Blackpool branches. Even though I'm from a local area, I actually found that I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know whilst building the route. So you tend to start picking up information along the way when you're looking into things. Obviously researching a specific thing, you'll find a little fun fact about something, which then might be a case. Oh, I've learned something else from that fact. Before you know it, you've learnt loads.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Ash has put in Swathing staff Monday to Friday in the mornings. Good. So John said as well, Swathing was where horses went to the Western Front in World War One.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. Romsey Station as well is also where soldiers.
Yeah, I did see the plaque. You mentioned something about soldiers.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this area that was related to the war efforts. Obviously, Southampton being a big prominent port, it was a key area.
Yeah. Exactly, Prof. Like when we found out that gingerbread, yeah, I didn't know that. Callum brought us that little wealth of knowledge, and that transpired into the collectible. Right, so St Denis, hopefully when Jack catches up. So as you see, this has been remodelled fully. This area's had a fair bit of work, not just the station. Am I right, Jack? If you want
Yeah,
to
the
explain
track's
a
all
bit of stuff.
been relayed here. Yeah, DTG's rendition, the track on the main lines for some reason it had a sort of a gap in the middle. It wasn't like completely flush next to each other. So sort of everything from Mount Pleasant level crossing, which you'll get to just after the station, was all relayed with easements because I don't think it had it originally. But yeah, and the alignment was all messed up. So that's all been sorted, and obviously a new station model to go in with that rather than the kit bash. But yeah, that's about it really. It's just obviously the line from Fareham and Portsmouth is coming in. So that's the other one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Eastleigh. So the 2 different lines to Fareham and Portsmouth.
That just travels around the curve, and then it just goes off over the river, runs down. There is some platforms for the next bit, but there's nothing else on the station. It just goes down to a portal. Again, it's a feeder line to and from portals. Really, you can start a scenario down there and run over and into the station, which is so the next scenario does do that. So you'll see that that little bit of running shortly. Obviously, it comes in then and joins up with the rest of the route. But St Denis is very realistic. Excellent. Thank you, John. That's good stuff.
Yeah, good to hear.
Good stuff. Excellent. Let's keep moving. Ah, there you are. There's someone asked about them signs earlier. These are obviously on posts rather than hanging off the canopy. So there is a version of them there. It's Mount Pleasant crossing here as well.
Bugatti, which crossover are you referring to? Just out of interest. Because I believe anything that's been laid should be accurate. So if there was a crossover, there should be one. But I don't recall there being one on that line to Portsmouth there. So I'm not sure if you're talking about somewhere else. But if you could just clarify, then I could double check.
We'll just gloss over the fact that I'm doing a fair whack over 25 around this corner because I totally wasn't looking. I do apologise. We haven't toppled over the curve, which is the main thing.
Correct. Yeah, you've only just unpaused at St. Denis. You're still looking at stuff up there. Crikey.
You'll see that in a second.
Mark's asked about did those PIS balls get swapped out for the rest of the route. I don't believe so. No. As Tom said, later on we can have a quick fly around and talk about what's changed if there's not been much. Yeah, the crossover north of St. Denis on the main line towards London. Yeah, that's there. Yeah.
That corner's always caught me out, even on the original route. I've always stormed around that corner like I'm in a rush.
Yeah, it does sort of creep up on you. You're thinking, oh, it's a busy 4-track main line, there can't be such a slow speed, and then it just peels away.
Got a red at the station here.
If I happen to get time marked and before release, then I can have a look at it, but I'm not promising anything. But if I get time once the final things are finished up and bug fixing, I fix any issues that are outstanding, and there's time before cut off for the last builds, and I'll have a look, but I'm not guaranteeing anything.
Stuff like that as well can always be deferred to post-release if there's any time after, when obviously if any bugs come through and there's enough to warrant obviously a build.
Exactly.
Stuff like that, if there's any time it allows, it can always be looked at. So yeah, it's one of them. Will the AP weather EP be compatible? Yeah, it is. Yeah. So because it obviously works off Southampton to Bournemouth as the base, that time of day file translates into this route. So if you have it installed, it works off the bat. Yeah. Same if you have the vegetation enhancement pack. If you've got that, it'll work on this. I haven't got that installed, so obviously you'll see the base. What you see on the foliage is the base foliage. I do have the AP weathering, but if you don't have AP's weather, you'll have the base sky dome. But they are compatible. Just going to creep up to this signal, hoping it might just change as we get to it. There's a service in the station, so I think we're going onto the left side, so we're crossing through here.
Yeah, you'll be utilising the newly upgraded lines that were done in April 2021 to sort of improve freight flow in and increase the speed limits.
Yeah.
Just increase the capacity as well.
I bet we have to stop and then it'll go yellow.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Always. Maybe not. Still sat there at the minute.
What service is it?
I think it's the 450. It's either 450 or 444.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Weymouth service.
It's a while since I've driven this one. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, it'd be one of the ones that whizzed by when you were waiting outside of Eastleigh, I guess.
Yeah, there was one that came across when that 66 went over. So it will be this one.
Yes. Yes, Steve. Yeah, there's nothing from Armstrong Powerhouse. This is just, well, we'll get onto it more in a minute, but yeah, it's something coming with this route that we've done it at Just Trains.
I'm just going to show you the signal as well, so keep your eye on that signal. Now, by now at this point, the signal normally would go red. There's a bit more of a delay, so that's one of the changes in the signalling code. There is some other stuff as well. Do you want to take this opportunity to go through some other bits of signalling, Jack, as while we're sort of trundling through?
I can do. I'll just get up the full list of stuff so I don't miss anything.
I'll let you talk this through. I'll focus on the driving.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. I will find it.
I've caught him off guard there.
You have. Here we go. So yeah, amongst a load of other improvements, which I'll get onto in a minute, there's just a few fixes to some signals that had some incorrect properties, such as home signals not being set as stopping signals. They acted as distant signals, which is a bit odd, and a few other miscellaneous issues. Something else you noticed was previously the 3-aspect LED banner repeater didn't display the correct aspect when it had flashing signals. That's now been fixed. It was something I noticed with this route, I believe. But yeah, getting onto the main meatier stuff, the good stuff. If you own any other Just Trains routes, such as sort of Midland Main Line, well, anything really that uses the JTMS signals, which is anything for the last 10 years, you'll notice that if you've got a junction that's approach from red or approach from yellow, I think it is, so 2 lower speed ones, that as you approach it, the speed limit on the HUD would change to typically 34 if it was approach from red, or some other different numbers for different types. That was due to the way approach control was set in the signal properties. That's been updated now to use just a negative version of that number in the signal properties, which means the speed limit doesn't show on the HUD. So you'll notice while Tom's been driving in this route, not sure if he's actually come across any approach from red signals.
Not sure if I have. I don't think I have.
No.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. If you do, you'll notice that the speed limit on HUD doesn't change, which is a good thing. But yeah, as that's a change in the properties for the signal on the route, that will only happen on this route. It won't happen on any other Just Trains routes, apart from, I hope I can say this, apart from Midland Main Line, which has had updates. So when Peak Forest released, all the signals on the Midland Main Line network will also operate with that new functionality and not show the speed limit change on the HUD. So you've got that to look forward to.
Might be worth as well, because obviously Southwestern Expressways might be another one that probably could benefit from something like that.
Yeah,
so it might be definitely worth having to have a chat about that.
Yeah, if that's something you want to do, we can do that.
Definitely. Because there's a lot of approach control stuff on there. I definitely recall. So yeah, we'll have to chat about that in due course.
Yep, I'll get back to the signals in a sec. I'll just answer some of the questions in the chat that have come up. Adam's asked about the station lights. They're on at this time. They're on all the time because the AO bait on the DTG station model is extremely dark. So if you don't have any lights there, if you look at the default Southampton Bournemouth route, you'll see it's really dark and you can't see anything under the canopies. So it's the compromise I've made because we haven't made a new model. It's not really feasible. It's not in the budget. So yeah, that's why they're on all the time. But yeah, AP signal EP. This route uses Just Train signals, so there's nothing to go with there. I think that's everything. Yeah, carrying on with the list. Flashing aspects have changed from half a second on, half a second off to 0.7 on and 0.3 off. Just adds a bit more realism. There's also been signal overlap, as Tom sort of demonstrated already. So there's a delay in the signal reversing to danger. Control signals have a shorter overlap distance. I can't remember the exact values off the top of my head. And automatic signals have a longer distance. I think they can go up to sort of maybe 250 meters, something like that. You'll notice as we're going through this, a lot of this is really similar to the signal EP. I will admit I was sort of inspired by that. Yeah, we're almost done. But the final thing to mention is the force aspect markers, which is going to be very useful for scenario creation. They're in use in all of the scenarios included with the route. If you have a look around here, there's a lot of bi-directional signals, and hopefully, if everything's gone correctly, they should all be displaying a red aspect for the opposite line, rather than them changing up as a train goes through in the other direction. So yeah, that's one use for them. But yeah, you've got force red, force double yellow, and force green. And there's sort of various settings you can control in them for when they change, how long they last, forcing the aspect, etc., etc. All of that will be detailed, probably on the JT support site when the route releases. But yeah, there will be documentation available for that. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything.
Yeah, I think so. There's lots of information there. Some good stuff for scenario creators, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you
So
want some of that in written form, if you go on the JT InDev page already for the route, there were a couple of development updates that focused on a few of the things on that. So a lot of the detail is there, just not how to actually use it in scenarios, but that will come on release.
It's the western dock that someone was on about earlier, so that's where that is down there, on that curve. Millbrook, is that Millbrook on the right, isn't it?
Yes.
So this
yeah,
is
the island platform.
This has some changes. So the crane's a new feature. There wasn't a crane there originally, so that's been put in, and also there's a wealth of new clutter and foliage and bits and pieces added in from the original.
Yes.
So that's had a nice spruce on detail.
Yeah, the crane actually had to come from Train Sim Academy, because the Southampton to Bournemouth crane was too big, so it
It's
fitted.
got all the rails on it, hasn't it?
It does.
The other one.
Yeah, yeah. So it fitted perfectly for the maritime container terminal, which we're going to. But yeah, it didn't work for there. So, but luckily TSA had a model that did fit.
Oh, apparently I've spotted a ground signal. Did I?
It's interesting that it's
Which one?
clear. It should be okay.
Which one did I go through?
There's a
Oh,
ground
there.
signal just after the main signal back there.
That one, I think. E941.
Yeah, it's interesting that's not displaying clear. I'll have to have a look into that. Maybe you should have all the latest scripts, because you've got all the overlap and other stuff.
This one, the next signal's showing an aspect into the yard, which you'll see in about a week when you catch up. Evening, Moses. I'm well. Jack's well as well. Jack's with us. Jack is the route developer. Yeah, we're both all good this evening. Hope you are. Will the upgraded 166 appear in the stream to shop? It certainly will, very, very soon on the next scenario, which is about to start in a couple of minutes. So keep with us for that. Pricing, David Wright's asked. I will go over that very shortly. Do not fear, we are going to cover pricing. We are working towards a release date of next Thursday, so that is the 25th. So all being well, and obviously nothing goes wrong, hopefully it will be on that day. Should something go wrong, obviously, then obviously it could change, but we are hoping, and fingers and toes and everything else crossed, that that's not the case. We are very much excited to get this out. Once again, it's been a long one in the works.
Yes, yeah, looking forward to getting out there, definitely. Thank you for all the kind comments as well. Nigel's the latest one in there. I think Mark and some other people have also.
Yeah, there's been loads
praised
of
the route, so
loads of
yeah,
praise and comments. It's nice
pleased
to
to
see.
see that.
It's been nice to see everyone obviously over the course of the development, whilst it's been under JT. The people that are asking about it as well, so that's nice. And always a comment, all the comments in the development blogs and stuff as well. It's always nice to read them. So thank you, and obviously on
Yes.
Jack's behalf.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much.
We're just gonna park up in here.
Yeah, there's a bit of an oddity. You've just gone past it in the stream, so it's probably about a minute ago for you. But as you come into the terminal, there's sort of a red telephone box, which is bizarrely there in reality.
Yeah, why is that
Yeah,
there as just to keep dry? Or
I
is it?
don't know.
I
It
wonder if
could
it
be.
serves a
It could
purpose.
be. Yeah. Yeah, I assume so. Yeah, and you notice there's a guy sat there as well, and he is might notice he's smoking or something. But yeah, that is as per the cab ride.
It's
So
just cold weather. He's just
I can
breathing his air. Yeah, it's just his breath in the cold weather.
But no, I thought that might be
Peggy
a
free
good
and all
Easter
that
egg
jazz.
in.
There we
Yeah.
go. That is scenario 1 done. We have arrived safely. Sunset's coming in now. It's, obviously it's early evening, sort of mid-evening. I think trains from Wiltshire take some tips from this route. Brilliant put together. We like to hope that RTSW stuff's been put together well as well. Great work, driver. Successfully done on that one. Excellent. Let us load up the next one. So the next one is for the 165/6. We're going to run from St Denis up to Salisbury. So with this one, we'll spend most of the time in the cab. Just to, obviously, it's 9:30 now. Otherwise, we'll probably not get to Salisbury till about midnight. So we'll sit in the cab and we'll have a proper drive in this. And obviously, Jack's going to be able to talk us through what he's done with this. Run 1F06 is what we're doing. So there is default scenarios as well. The default scenarios, by the way, are not so default that you might be accustomed to with some of our stuff where it usually just uses a Kuju. We're quite lucky with this that default means that we can use stock from the Southampton to Bournemouth route, which means we can use the 450, the 444, the FSA or whatever they are, the container wagons, and then we still use obviously the Kuju because it is obviously for the 166. So there's a few bits used in there, but the driving experience is a lot more realistic towards rather than just driving a 37 or a first Great Western HST around everywhere. So for those that don't have obviously all the requirements for the main scenarios, you can obviously find a selection. I think there's 10 defaults and 17 standard scenarios, and then there's also quick drive, and there's some free roams as well. Right, so drive 165/130 and 166/202 on the first Portsmouth Harbour to Cardiff Central service of the day between St Denis and Salisbury. Righty, oh.
Yeah, and just on the topic of quick drives, they are very extensive. You can go around the loop both ways. You can do reversals at Southampton if you're sort of going from, for example, if you want to go from Bournemouth to Salisbury, you can choose to reverse at Southampton, or you can choose to go around the loop to Eastleigh. You can do sort of your own Salisbury to Romsey loop services. And there's plenty of paths to choose from. Don't know, maybe it's something to look at just in the menu at the end if you wanted, if there's time.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look at that. I can show that.
But yeah,
definitely. Right. So, just before going until now, just putting. I'm hoping to see another TSW4 from the GT team. Blackpool brought a new standard TSW4, and your route for TSC are wonderful. Thanks,
I think
guys,
you made a
for all
mistake,
your
Tom.
Hey?
You've loaded the default version apparently.
Hello?
Sorry to cut you off. 2 people have said you loaded default, so.
Have I? Have I? I have.
I didn't see. I wasn't paying attention.
I have. Well spotted. You can drive the default if you wish, or you could drive that one. Hang on, did I click the wrong one? I must have done. Let's have a look. Thought I had it selected at the top. Well spotted. It's been one of them evenings. It's been one of them days. It's been a long day. Well, hopefully this will be right now. There we go. We're right. Thanks, Nigel, for the kind words there as well. Right, so good morning, driver. You start on the move approaching St Denis, so be prepared to take the controls immediately. You're currently a couple minutes down, but you should be able to make up the time at Salisbury. By Salisbury, sorry. Have fun. One job indeed.
Yeah, so this scenario starts at sort of the furthest extent of scenery on the line to Fareham. So yeah, it sort of starts at the bridge over the River Itchen.
Shall we have a look at the 165/66 first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Properly moving. So
yeah, And don't jinx it, Prof. It's going to crash in a minute if you say that.
Don't say that. We want it to all go smoothly. As smooth as it can do. Discord's behaving itself, touch wood, it's saying like that. Yeah, so we've got a pair in here, so we've got a 165 and a 166 in this. Obviously a variety of liveries as well, which is nice, so we can show you that. But not just that, you will see there is actually some visual changes. Now the audio, there is a few bits of audio on this, isn't there, Jack? I'll let you
Yes.
talk through what is different there. I know the horn's different, but on the visual side of things, so one thing you can note is there's a destination blind, which is, I think, is the first for the 165/6. I don't think the original one ever had one working, did it?
I don't think so, no.
I don't ever recall it working. So there's one thing, and that's got quite a lot going on in there. There's a lot of destinations, and you can customize the route as well. So you can change the number on that, and obviously the destination to where the unit's going to. So that's just one thing. There's a lot of places that you can play with that, and there's a manual specifically
Yes.
separating the installer for this unit little upgrade. So
Yeah, I've
definitely
just
have a look at that.
I've just dropped a link to the manual in there. Although
Excellent.
I will note with that is not the latest version of the manual. That was from a few months ago, but it's the one that's on the JT site. There is a new version of the manual, which covers even more numbering options for some of the extra roof details you can see, which will obviously be up there for release. But that's got a lot of the stuff in. It's got all the destination stuff in. If you wanted to have a look at the full destination lists and the options you can do for that, because yeah, I spent quite a while making sure that the PIS system can display every possible destination and route code that these can display in real life. So they're
It's
all
nice
there.
to actually. It's lovely to actually see a destination on it. That just one big change, which actually is a nice visual change because there's never seen it. I think that it had like a weird texture on it, which looked broken
I
originally.
think so.
So it was all
Yeah.
like all muddled up. It's like it was obviously a mapping issue or something, but it never was fixed. So this is in there. So there's all sorts there. Yes. Pause brake key makes the game pause like that. So on the top row where all the F like 1 to 12 is, if you go across, if your keyboard has that, you'll then see the print screen, scroll lot, and then the brake pause, and it should have a little moon symbol under it. If you press that, it'll pause the game, and you can fly around on the fly. What else have we got in the questions? Manual hasn't
Shall we?
shown up as they aren't mod. I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
how that's going to work. Pass me the link
Are
in
you?
Discord,
Yeah.
and
I
I
was gonna say
will
you
see
can
if I can
post it.
post it somehow. I should be able to post
Yeah, I
here.
did notice it came up as grey text rather than like a blue link.
Let me just try this, see if this works.
Yeah,
That should
I'll
work.
just cover.
There we go. It's come
Yeah,
through.
there you go. That's come through. Yeah, I mean, there's been a few questions about sounds. So yeah, as Tom said, there's a new horn sound. I'm gonna say the sounds are not AP quality before people start expecting that. I haven't been able to go out and record these properly. So yeah, the horn sound it's just taken from the passenger view, so it's the best I could get. And that's why there's no sort of new motor sounds, etc. But yeah, someone's asked, is it compatible with the SAMT sound patch? I believe it is. I haven't sort of fully tested it, but the way that the SAMT sound patch works, I think it replaces the actual audio files rather than the audio bin files. So yes, I believe you will get the engine sounds from the SAMT sound patch on this. But yeah, the main sound changes for me is sort of the new horn, which is now a separate two-tone horn, and got new AWS sounds. I think door sounds as well from Ash Clark. He recorded those for us.
The PRM
PRM
ones,
door
aren't
sounds.
they? Yeah.
I think there's a couple other things like the DVD, maybe the guards buzzer as well.
There's
Yeah, it's just
the
sort of
DRA new as
all
well.
minor thing.
Or
Yeah,
was that, yeah.
it's a new feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, the button and stuff was obviously animated, and the red light and stuff was all there in the original. It just never had any function. You couldn't actually press it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or if you could, it didn't do anything.
I'm just looking around at the front and just showing a few bits off. So just a couple of things as well to note. You've got so if you look at the headlights, there's new headlight textures, and are the casings new on the lights as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. For this one, the LED lights, it's a completely new model.
Yep.
That's courtesy of Luca Waddling,
Mhm.
known for some of his reskins. He's done sort of a lot of the additional modelling, so the new lights, the front cab aircon cowling underneath the driver's side,
Which is there.
the GSMR antennas on the coach roof as well, and on the Class 165s, the air cooling equipment on the roofs, and there's some vents on the side of the train for the air cooling as well. They're all modelled by him.
There we go.
And a lot of that stuff can all be controlled in the unit number, and there's sort of variations for that.
Yeah, you can turn
that
stuff off as well, so you can turn them on and
you
off
can.
quite
Yeah,
easily.
that's not in the latest manual that's been linked, but it will be in the release manual. It's because that stuff only came in the past couple of weeks, so
Yeah.
not had a chance to update it yet.
Are these little bits on the side? There's like little dents that come out near the back of the coach. Are these new? You're not going to see it right this second, are you?
Yes.
Are they
Yeah,
new?
I think I know what you're talking about. They're DOO cameras.
The camera,
One
yeah,
on each
yeah,
coach.
yeah, they do, yeah. Yes, they're new bits
Yeah.
as well. So just a little note as well. So with the 165, you can now if I get this right, because Jack, I only learned this through Jack the other day. So the 165s have the air conditioning stuff on the roof, but the 166s never got the air conditioning. So on the 165s, you can obviously turn them on. Can you still turn them on if you wanted on the 166 if you really wish to? Would it work, or does the scripting allow for that, or can you not? Just to be
I
really customizable.
I don't know. It might be on there.
Yeah, maybe.
I
Possibility.
honestly couldn't tell you. It's not something I've tested because it's not
It's
something
not
that's there in reality,
real life,
so I
yeah.
haven't tested that.
If people like to experiment with stuff. Obviously, one to note as well is there's actually more than one GSMR antennas. Actually, there's a couple that go along the roof. There's loads.
And there's variations as well. Each driving coach has a different number on and a different layout as well, which is interesting. Just extra detail. Sammy's asked about why there isn't an NSE reskin. As we're driving along, I'll talk about how the project came about, but quite simply, it was just to get the correct stop in for this route, really. So yeah, I'll go into a bit more detail as we're driving along about how the project progressed, but yeah, that's the short answer of why there isn't an NSE or First Great Western Link, etc. It's because it was primarily to have the right liveries for when this route's set.
Just showing the First Great Western plane as well. So you can see this is the 166. Hasn't got the AC vents on the top. You can see the GSMR though, which could be put on there. We'll get driving though, otherwise we'll be sat here till next Christmas. So let's demonstrate the horn. There's a bit of horn action there for them that like horn action on a stream.
Yeah, it's quite a sort of squeaky horn. It's sort of quite a lot of variation across the fleet. Obviously, the one I went on, quite a lot of the ones I've been on actually, it's got a really sort of squeaky horn like that. It just doesn't sound very good at all. But then a lot of them, it's sort of a more normal horn, so it just sort of depends which one you get. So the one I recorded, it was a bit more squeaky, but yeah, I quite like it being squeaky, to be honest. Crankybot's asked as well, going up the chat a bit, is there a reference to look at for the 2-digit route code? There is, but I can't share it with you. That's the short answer. If you know someone in GWR that might be able to give it to you, but I can't share anything, unfortunately. As you'll see in the manual, it lists every number that is realistically used with each destination, and for these scenarios here, it's been made with the correct number for the cooling pattern, which is what the number reflects. But yeah, if you're making something and if you don't have that, you just have to rely on
big case of
or other sources.
Yeah.
Although it is a bit of a pain, the LED destinations on these show up really poorly in photos. So
I presume there's the one that they sort of like flicker.
Yeah, I was trying to find reference for the fonts and stuff, and how many pixels it is and everything. And 4 times out of 5, the photo had a blank destination because the camera wasn't picking it up. But yeah, unfortunately I can't share with you the official documents.
Did you spot a broken set of points? Don't know, did you? Let's have a look. Shall we, for the purpose of double checking, we best double check. Hang on. Them ones are fine. I'm just gonna go backwards and just backtrack. Oh, yes. I'll take a screenshot. You all catch up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that in my build as well.
Okay.
Crikey, what's happened there?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll look into it. Well spotted.
I was changing some track properties through here a couple of days ago.
I wonder if you've
something
of
bridge occlusion, so that
yeah,
it was so bridges could show up on the HUD. So I guess something's gone a bit funny there.
You might just have to double check you've edited enough track in that sort of area, that point work.
Yeah.
It should probably be a quick, easy fix if you just if you do enough around that area, and
yeah,
it should pick up and it should work. You might have the setup just seen. I think there's another one here. There's one potentially there as well. On that section, under that other bridge on the curve, there is one. So it looks like it'd be a quick just beyond, so it should pick up. Towing network rail is probably the same IRL. Hopefully not, for safety. Just borrowing the railhead, it's fine. So where are we actually stopping? So, Southampton, Central, Romsey and Salisbury. Evening, Robbo! Yes, YouTube only on here for JT now.
Yeah, just a couple of things Crankybot said about the horn. I spent quite a long time trying to find the best thing for it, and that was the best I could get. Unfortunately, I know it doesn't sound the best, it's not up to sort of AP quality. But yeah, I did spend quite a lot of time in Audacity and other stuff trying to change the audio a bit, but that was the cleanest I could get it, really.
The thing to note with it is it's a bit of a bonus little addition to the route, really. Again, obviously not to expect like a full AP enhancement treatment. At the end of the day, it's been done to enhance the stock a bit for the route, if you know what I mean. Extra liveries, and there is actually some extra features under the hood as well, which I think we'll be able to go over shortly. One of them is a hill start in the track.
Yeah.
So there's some bits and pieces like that as well. So there is actually some other funky bits going on that you can get your teeth into. So, I mean, I don't know how to do it, but please explain it to me, Jack, in a second, and we can talk about it while we stop. So there is other bits and pieces like that. Again, it's an extra bonus at the end of the day to just aid the route, and obviously because these units obviously work on this route rather than have it in with just the default 166 and 165. It just adds a little bit extra to the route. So there is some, obviously you do get some additions on there.
Yeah, just going back to what Oliver said about the 375, 377 EP. Some of the scenarios need it, some don't. I will admit the scenarios I made, which were at least a year ago, I used the EP, and then scenarios made more recently by Ash, which are included with the route, don't use the EP. So some do, some don't. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Probably should have just used the default, but it's a little bit late to change it now. But it's something we can look into post-release if it's an issue a lot of people have.
So you obviously get the DRA there, which now has the animation and the light on. I think so. In the cab, talk us through anything that's changed in the cab.
Okay.
We've just had a question for that.
So the only retexturing I've done really is I've changed the seat maquette to be sort of a more traditional BR maquette. It was like a weird purpley thing before. I think it was like a first Great Western Link. And then obviously the headlights, I've added the light indicator, the light proving. Because obviously there's a new headlight combination that used to just be on off.
Yep.
But that's now got all the different options, day, night, markers. So there's all the options for that model.
Straight tail lights.
Yeah, you got tail lights, a separate switch. Obviously the horn, the lever that goes both ways now, two-tone rather than one-tone. There's DRA as you've shown. There's hill start, there's nothing animated. It's the red button on the end of the power brake controller. If you, in reality, you'd hold that in and it would use hill start.
Yeah.
So you can actually do that. I don't know if you've actually set off yet.
I haven't set off yet.
But if you hold the plus or the equals key, the recommended driving technique that's taught for these is hold the hill start in and you go to notch 4 to get the revs up and then release it and go into notch 5 as you sort of start moving away.
Hang on a second. It started moving, let's try it again. So plus down.
Yeah.
Keep it held down.
Yeah, if you hold it down, and then if you take power, it will hold you in step 1. Hopefully.
So it starts taking power, am I right?
Yeah, so if you hold down the hill start, it will start revving up, but you shouldn't move because you're holding step 1 braking.
Right, it starts moving, hang on.
I'll look into that and maybe something's broken in the
say minus key as well, let me try it on minus key.
No, it's the plus equals, so it's the same, it's only 1 key.
Plus equals.
If it's not what
oh, hang on, plus equals, oh, hang on, I'm doing it on the number pad.
Oh, that'd be why.
Sorry,
plus
right, let's try again.
Key. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's to work, yeah, so there we go. Yeah, so don't do it on number pad, do it on the number row. So you can see it's holding, it starts gaining a bit of power. Take the key off, there we go, it's going. There we go.
Yeah. And then once you're moving away, you go into notch 5 and then 6 at 5 miles an hour and 7 at 10. That's from the GWR driver we've spoken to, that's the sort of the recommended techniques that they're taught.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So it's not just to note that isn't broken. That was me that doing it wrong.
Yeah, you had me worried there.
I had myself worried because I do recall doing it once before, a long time ago, when you once sent me all the stuff to look over. But there we go. That's one of the little additions. We've seen the DRA. That obviously has the animation as well. Guard buzzer.
Yeah, that's in there.
That's on C.
So yeah, when you close the doors, you should you get the 2 buzzers as well.
Yep.
If you're in the cab. Yeah, the hill start, I believe it's on the same key as what AP used for any of their locos that use hill start. I made sure it's consistent. Crankybots asked about the female voice announcement. Yes, that's still in there.
Welcome aboard.
Seems a bit temperamental. I believe it only, I believe it only plays if you're actually in the cab as the doors start closing, just the way it's set up. I haven't changed anything with that. I just left it in there. Nothing's been tweaked with that. The main other thing we haven't spoken about is the TPWS.
Yes.
This has full sort of TPWS simulation, as you could say. So the TPWS panel is up in the top left of the cab, just to the left of the cab window, and that functions prototypically.
Okay.
So if you fail to acknowledge the DVD, which is toggleable with Control D, I believe, it's off by default. So you have to respond within 2.7 seconds. If you don't, then you'll get emergency braking, and the TPWS will start flashing at you. And you have to acknowledge that.
Can I activate the driver vigilance on this? Does that driver vigilance?
Yeah. If you do Control D, it should activate.
Ah, excellent. Is that a new feature on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just double checking because I can't remember if they said it or not. So if I fail to obviously acknowledge it, that's a new obviously AWS horn sound. So if I don't press anything, shall we actually show it?
Yeah.
I think
or there's a couple of AWS magnets coming up, so you can just miss one of those as well if you wanted to. It's up to you. Both of those will trigger the emergency brake, and they both.
So if I press Q now.
If you miss the I'm actually just checking the manual for this. The DVD doesn't show up with the light there. That's what I've been told. But if you miss the AWS, it does come up with the brake demand line,
Okay.
which you have to acknowledge. Then you have to wait 60 seconds, and you can take power, or you can circumvent it by just going into neutral, taking out the master key, and going back in. That as per reality, you can do that. It's obviously frowned upon practice. And then obviously, if you're tripped by a TSS grid or an OSS grid, then it's all functions the same way. You get your brake demand light. You have to acknowledge. Yeah, that's just something I added in there.
So to acknowledge this, how do I do that?
Press Q.
So Q to.
Yeah, and then that will start this. Will go solid, and it will start the 60-second timer.
So obviously cancel the AWS that will be shouting at you, and then press Q again to obviously it'll go steady.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's the case just waiting for that now to go off, and then you can take power again. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it'd be a 60-second wait, or as I said, you can just
so yeah, you could do a basically reset up. Self-test, is that a new feature for this proper master key
AWS
as well?
self-test. Yeah. So the master key is a newly modelled thing. That's new, and the AWS self-test. Unfortunately, due to the animation on the reverser, it doesn't have the off position, so I'm having to use neutral as the off position. So in reality, you should only be able to insert the master key if it's in off, and take it out if it's in off. But I'm having to use neutral for that.
No.
Yeah, and Adam's asked about the train stop override. No, that doesn't work, because this is an existing cab. I haven't been able to add any new click spots or animations to it. That red light on the TVWS panel was actually there originally. It just obviously there was no scripting for it to work. So there's a lot of stuff like DRA as well. It's all sort of included in there. It's just they never did anything with it. So I've just been able to make use of that red light being there, sort of implement this. But yeah, there's no override button, because that would sort of require more development. I don't know how to sort of add new click spots to an existing cab.
Now, do we have a release from red?
Yes, this one is released from red. So yes, you'll notice the speed limit won't change on the HUD now.
Train spotter, good evening. How are we doing?
Steve's asked, does this 165, 166 EP come with the route? Yes. Obviously, the base model comes from the European Loco and Asset Pack, which is a requirement for the route. And then all of these changes, come with the route, and it comes up with a new name in the scenario editor and the menus as class 165, 166 brackets JT, I believe.
Yeah, I think it starts with just trains, and then dash, and then Wessex Main Line or whatever. Well, I can show you anyway, quickly in the menu how it will appear. So if you can see in the HUD, I presume you can see down below. I'm sure the HUD takes that off actually.
Yeah, it is visible.
Yeah, you can see it, yeah, so it didn't change speed limit inside. It stays at 30. I'm good, thank you, Transporter. And hello, Fraser. No worries at all, Jake. All the best, and take it easy. See you soon, mate.
Yeah, thanks for watching, Jake. Yeah, now we're on sort of an open section through to Romsey. Oh yes, Pegassi just said the fake corner on the crossing. It is there. I don't know if you've already gone past it, but if you fly ahead to the next crossing after the signal and wait there, it's probably too late now. I forgot to mention it.
Oh.
But it's one of those crossings that will play a train horn as you approach it.
Oh, is it? Does it actually do it in the game?
Yes.
Oh, have you done that? Oh, right. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Looking at it's the crossing ahead that you're about to go to where you
before
paused,
the curve.
But no, it's the one the whistle ball's for that you've just gone by.
Okay, yeah.
But you'll be too late to trigger it now.
Ah.
Yeah, it triggers it about the whistle ball. Sorry, I totally forgot about that. But yes, that is in there.
I'll have to remember that and have a look at it next time I drive.
Yes.
Passenger view. Has there been anything in the passenger view?
There's previously had one camera location, now got I think 3. But there's been no texture changes, there's no maquettes, etc. That was sort of out of the scope for the project really. And same with the Chiltern, there's nothing for that. It was well out of scope. As I alluded to earlier on, it was just to sort of get the correct liveries in, and then everything else was a bonus.
Yeah.
Good night, Crankybot. Thanks for tuning in.
All the best, Crankybot.
But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I said I'll sort of go through how this came about. So it was just over a year ago, sort of December 2022, and I was sort of starting to think about sort of scenarios for the route. Obviously, these have become sort of a mainstay for GWR over the last few years on this route. So once again, the liveries in. So I started off with the dynamic lines livery, so I just thought I'd want to make that high resolution, and obviously I built 2 new liveries that you're seeing here off of that. So then I didn't go back and do the older ones because it was sort of out of scope, and then I was gradually these little things that really annoyed me about the 165, 166, the horn, trying to think how the AWS didn't work properly, and then you talk about small things like DRA. I'd never done any scripting or anything for trains anymore, so it sort of just went from there. As I kept learning, I got a lot of help from other people, which was really kind. I thought, well, let's try and get a destination panel in, and then yeah, it sort of spiraled out of control from there into sort of a full sort of mini upgrade, just without any sounds, really.
It's just lovely.
Yeah.
The visual side of things is just a lovely thing on its own. Just the extra roof detail and all the bits on the front. Just a bit more. More
getting the coach letters on, the ride height modification stickers. These units had to have their bodies raised, I think, ever so slightly, to run on this route. So yeah, they've all got stickers showing that.
What's the top speed for these units, by the way?
90, I believe.
Oh, is it? I wasn't sure if I was speeding or not in them.
No. The 165/0 for Chiltern are 75, but GWR/1 are 90. Same with the 166.
Yeah.
Ross has said, about sound. Yes, sorry, I did fix sound in the passenger view, so there is no sound. It's the same sound as in the cab.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, there's no visual changes apart from the extra camera use and fixing the sound. So I've done so much, I've just sort of forgotten that I'd done certain things. So yeah, well remembered.
I'm hoping as well everyone enjoys these updates when they get on it. It's just change. It just gives it a little bit extra to do, and at the end of the day, it adds a bit more on such a veteran unit in the game. How old is the 166 now? It's ancient.
Yeah.
Just add something to it, give it a bit more. Sort of, it repurposes it really, and just gives it a lease of life.
Prof said about whistle boards not being attached to the HUD. These are all using DTG Southampton Bournemouth models which aren't attached to the HUD. Don't know if there's something we'll be able to change before release, but we can look into it.
I mean,
there is JT
ones.
There
is ones. Yeah, the track links. If you ever had the time to go back, I mean, obviously it's a bit sort of time scoping now. If there's time, there's time. If there's no time, it could be something that we can definitely look at as a post-release update.
Yes, definitely. Ross has just said they're perfect for sweat scenarios as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've done a scenario on there. It's a much nicer drive.
Yeah, definitely be nice to have a drive. I haven't done it myself yet, but I will definitely be doing that. And no doubt some scenario creators will probably end up using it on there anyway, so I look forward to it.
Yes.
Is this ported from the Chiltern JT units? No, it's them ones are totally different. Those are separate. These are Jack was probably about to say a brand new sort of side project, which obviously have come from the DTG/Kuju RSC original model. I'm gonna go outside and just watch the doors as well, so you can hear the sound
out. John's asking about the Abbey. It's there, but it's just a generic model that was already in the library. It's not a custom.
Over there.
Unlike Salisbury Cathedral, it's not a massive, imposing structure. I mean, yeah, you sort of see the top of it a bit, but from that distance, you're only seeing the very top of the tower. I just went with a generic model.
I've just done a really, really poor attempt at stopping at this station, by the way. I can't
You
the train
have.
hanging out of it.
You stopped at the 2 when
Yeah.
you're a 5.
Terrible. Hang on. Have I? Have I missed the DSD? It's.
You might have done. I don't know.
I think it did come up. I wonder if I've missed it. Hang on. Let me just do the cheeky bypass. Yeah, I did. That serves me right for stopping in the wrong place.
Yeah.
We've got the res, but no movement.
Yeah, you'll be in the 60-second timer then.
Yeah. Obviously, you won't
Well, at
if
least
you do it in the
proves it
station.
works.
Yeah, if you don't do it, if you do it in the station, you don't actually get the flashing light. Obviously, if you're driving, you get the flashing light.
Yeah, no. If it's a DVD at all, you don't get the light.
Yeah.
I double check the manuals. The AWS and the TPW should get the light, but the DVD you don't.
Yeah. Next sim stop aboard there. Cross country.
Yes.
Just another thing as well. There's a few different. There's some different lights, isn't there, as well? Not just LED. Have you got some non-LED styles on this? Am I right?
Yeah. On the dynamic lines livery, there's
Yeah.
the original light lenses. But obviously they now allow you to. They have updated textures, and they allow you to obviously have all the different common of daylight, tails, etc., rather than just on off.
Mhm.
And then yeah, obviously you got LED on these too.
Yeah.
Which I think the LED fitting was done sort of almost 10 years ago now.
Was it? Wow.
Yeah, speaking of lights, it's going to remind me as well as now a cab light as well. I think that was missing
good.
from the default
Oh,
version.
there we go. Look at that. Let there be light. Excellent. It's a steady old road back down to Salisbury now, so 18 miles non-stop.
Yeah,
We'll have a look around.
Fast run.
Yeah, we'll have a look round at Salisbury again just quickly, then we'll quickly fly up to Quidhampton, just to show up there, and then I think we'll have a quick look at the quick drive selection, weren't we? Just have a quick look in the menu, just what obviously options you've got, and I think that's pretty much us rounded up. Hope everyone's enjoyed what they've seen so far. And again, if you get any questions between now and the end of the stream, fire away. I know it's gone a lot longer than we normally do, but obviously because there's so much to cram in, you can't do it in an hour. To try and show everything possible.
Yep, and as well, we're just going to briefly talk about the Southampton Bournemouth improvements. So I'll just go through it now while we're on this stretch.
Yeah,
so
go for it.
Obviously, it's swapped to JT Goo Common Library track. It's swapped to the JT signals that's already been mentioned, just so it's all uniform. And Ash has just said as well to remind me, I'm already on it, and Bugatti as well. And then mostly it's, I think I've updated all the level crossings to use the newer JT models rather than the really old DTG ones. I think I've fixed stuff where there's sort of clearly trees overhanging the track. I mean, I haven't done a full pass through, but where stuff's been reported, I've done that. There's Pokestown Station. As you drive into it heading towards Bournemouth, there's a big hole in the left in the concrete wall. That's been patched up. Stop car markers have been updated.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, sorry, I was just trying to think there. Yeah, stop car markers have been updated throughout to, as we've been driving along, you might have noticed there's new stop car marker models. There's the Southwest Train style ones. There are some at Salisbury, so you can have a look at those if you want.
Yeah.
And then there's blue versions and black versions as well, because each station sort of has different styles. Yeah, and then as Tom started saying, on the main section that you're going to drive more, sort of Redbridge, Millbrook, because obviously that's where most scenarios are going to go through. there's been sort of some more updates to that. It's all sort of been recluttered, those two stations, and the footbridge sort of had to be modified at Redbridge station to fit in the new track alignment for the freight, and the fencing on the platform has been noded off, because that was all at one end, it was all sort of floating in midair and off the back of the platform, so that's been updated. Yeah, I think that's sort of about it really. I think that covers most things. Ash said minor update of Senior 8 New Milton. Yeah, wrapping with local station, a couple of small updates there, but yeah, it's only just minor things here and there. It's not like a full-on revamp. It's just where there was sort of glaring issues.
Yeah, just to patching things up where needed, really.
Yes.
There's a question: did you fix the speed signs on the Lymington branch?
What are you referring to exactly with that? The speed signs across the whole route did get updated from the Kuju era ones, coming the DTG route to the JT ones. But I don't think I've changed anything speed-wise on the Lymington branch. I wasn't aware there were any issues. So yeah, just let me know what that is and I'll double check. Mark's just asked about re-signalling the whole thing with JT. Yes, it is all re-signalled. So you can use well, so it's the same throughout, so it's compatibility. Because at one point I was the whole new section was laid with JT signals, and then from Redbridge Causeway over to Totton onwards it was all DTG, and there were signal compatibility issues between the two. You get sort of erroneous double yellow signals, so where they join, so yeah, it has all been updated to be the same throughout.
I mean, the joy of that is as well is the fact that obviously with the new like the full signal stuff, at least you have that sort of playability as well now, so you'll be able to do that all that stuff in new scenarios.
What speed changes are we talking about? We're talking about sort of straight out the station. I've got the route loaded now, so I can have a quick look for you, but I can double check the sectional appendix if you want. But yeah, nothing had been reported that there were incorrect speeds. So I assume you're talking about the line that goes to Lymington from the shuttle uses on platform 4, which in game it looks like it's sort of 60 from the station all the way up towards where it branches off, where the speed drops to 35 around the curve. I think there's a 40 before that as well from memory. Or it might be the other direction, I'm not sure. But yeah. When it goes up to 60, there are no sign. The sign just isn't there. Which direction are we talking about? To or from Lymington? But I'll double check any cab rides.
Just do the old nice cinematic cameras whilst you're going through that.
Yes.
Showing off all the lovely views. Stuff like the change of the PIS boards and the mileposts on the regional part, I can't see that being too much of an effort. Definitely something I think that would be worth looking at. Definitely post-release.
Yeah.
But definitely something that would have to be post-release. It's too close to the window now.
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff. But yeah, definitely I can see stuff like that being possible.
I'm just looking in the editor now at those speed signs, and leaving Brocknose going towards Lymington, there is a 35 speed sign. Let me just keep going and see if it goes.
All the best, Nigel. Good night, mate. Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for your kind words, Nigel. Yeah, I can't see anything else going towards Livingston with the speed signs going up, so I've added it to my list to look into. But yeah, that would just be from the DTG route, I think. Kind of thing there. Obviously, going the other way, you can see there's the speed signs reducing the speed back down. But yeah, there's nothing going the other way. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. And I'll see if I can look into that. I don't know when it would be, but yeah, I wasn't aware that they were.
Just see the spire of the cathedral just popping over the top of the hills there in the distance where my mouse is.
Yeah, it really is seen for miles around.
Even though that the engine audio hasn't been changed, it feels, I don't know, just feels different. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of does, to be honest. And personally, I'm going to get shot down here, but when I'm sat in the cab, I personally don't think the audio is that terrible from the default audio. Outside, I don't think it's as good, but in the cab, I honestly don't think it's too bad. But I'm sure everyone will disagree with me.
Everyone will have their own opinions on that side of things, which everyone's allowed to have, so we'll not get into the politics on that. But so just the visual side of things, I mean, looking at that front unit with all the roof mount, all the bits for the roof, it was great. It just adds a lot more to it. It's nice that you can have obviously the playability and the customization of setting them up as the ones that you need as well.
Yeah. So I guess I could quickly talk through the variations. So
yeah,
you can choose to have GSMR antennas or not to have them. You can choose not to have the air cooling panels, whether you want them. Because some units were reliveried before they got them fitted, vice versa. So some had them and some didn't. What other numbering can you do? Get up the manual.
Was there a specific number that had some specific stuff on it?
Yeah, 166201 has some additional roof equipment, which I believe is actually sort of like 15-20 years old. I believe they were fitting some sort of experimental aircon to it, which they didn't go forward with on the rest of the fleet. But yeah, it still has that, so the roof equipment is modelled for that. So if you number a unit 166201 in the scenario, you automatically gain that equipment. You can also choose to enable or disable the coach letter sticker on the front. If you're setting a scenario maybe 5 years ago, before they got added. Same with the ride height modified sticker. You can obviously set the destination and the destination number. You can also add a thing to the number in the scenario editor to isolate the doors for that unit and lock them out of use.
All right.
So I was actually over Christmas, there was a 8-car working of this service. They needed to position a move from Fratton up to Bristol. So the rear unit, the rear 3 carriages were locked out of use.
Right.
So I added a parameter so you can add it to a unit number and it will lock the doors on that given unit out of use. So it won't do the whole consist, but it would just do the unit that it's applied to.
Yeah.
So
that's
that
cool.
so I could do a scenario with the first 5, a 165 and a 166 in passenger service in the 166 on the rear, locked out of use.
Excellent. Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, they're
that's
all
cool.
the different numbering options.
I didn't know you'd done that. Obviously, when you're doing these numbering as well on the units, you have to do it on one of the cars, which is it DMOS? Is it? I think.
Let me double check. I believe yes, on the DMOS coach. Yeah.
So you just change it on that one, and it'll apply it for that unit. And then obviously if you're running as a 2 sets coupled up, you'd have to go and do the same again on the other car. For that unit, and then it'll apply it across the board for that set for the change that you want to apply.
Yeah, and obviously all the details on that is in the numbering section at the end of the manual.
Yeah.
The one that was linked earlier isn't the latest version, so it doesn't have some of those newer things like the doors isolated, the new equipment. But
that manual comes in the installer as well, so you will be able to find all that properly on the release version.
Yeah. And one more thing, as well, I've just seen the numbering section. On the dynamic lines livery, you can, by default, it has the old headlights, halogen lights, but you can add LED equals 1 to add LED lights to it, because some of them receive LED lights before getting re-liveried. So that's another numbering option. So there's plenty of customization.
Yeah, there's been a lot put into it.
Yeah, you've just gone past the site of Salisbury landslip. You can sort of see the bankings all changed there just before you go around the curve. And then obviously, as you go around the curve to the right, if you went straight on there, that was the old Salisbury Milford station I mentioned earlier when we were here.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's no station buildings left there at all. I think there's a pub or something named like the station somewhere.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I can't take any praise for this, Nigel. I'm just driving. I'm here to support Jack this evening. I'm the one showing. Jack's done all the hard work of putting the route together. Obviously he's had some help from Ash, who's done some of the scenarios. We've supported with some of the custom assets for the route. A couple of the stations. I think there was a
all of
Eastleigh
Eastleigh
as well.
works and stuff.
That's what we supported with. Other than that, Jack's done a number of the custom assets himself as well, scenarios as well. The only little bit I can take off it, I worked on the default scenarios and I made a hash of that as well. Had a little slight boo-boo which we found earlier on, but we've sorted now, it's all fine. So, other than that, yeah, we're alright. But no, I can't take any of the credit on this at all, so I'm merely the driver. I'll take the credit for driving. No, it's great to see that it's just about at the finishing line. And on that note as well, I think we'll just mention that the price for the route will be £24.99 on release, and again the release is hoping to be on next Thursday.
Yes, yeah, fingers crossed. I see you worked in the the old sort of site of Salisbury Milford then. That's quite interesting. Yeah, glad to hear a lot of people are really happy with it. They're going to be buying it.
Definitely.
It's really good to hear.
That's all anyone can want when you build a route. It's all you can want.
Yep.
Again, for those that someone did ask earlier about Steam release, there will be a release on Steam. Again, we can't say when that's going to be because we don't even know ourselves. There'll be some work that Jack has to do to get the scenarios sorted for that, and then it'll go through Dovetail's QA, and then they'll release it once they're happy. So there will be a release on there for those that like to keep things in one place and purchase on Steam. So you just have to sit tight on that. Hopefully it'll be sometime in the year. Fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll have to just wait on that. But when all things move on that front. But if you are eager and support via the website and purchase there, you can obviously find in-dev stuff if you want to have a read on all the stuff that's been posted up till now. I believe there's another one. I think there's one more dev blog that's due to come out just ahead of release. That got pushed through today, so I think that'll be coming out in the next day or two, all being well. I think that's just waiting to be put up on the site. Trying to think what else. Anyone that's missed anything on the stream this evening, you can watch back on that. Trying to think if there's anything else on that front that I've missed. Oh, that's the other one. If you're obviously waiting for the release of the route, you can head to the development side of the route. You can sign up to the email system, and you'll get a notification when the product goes live, so you don't miss out. If you're waiting to get it as soon as it goes live, you'll get a notification on that. I think I've covered everything in that department.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So as you come in here where that 159 is, that Salisbury East carriage sidings, I think you just stable a few 159s there overnight. Just extra capacity.
So 24.99 is not bad for my JT reward. It's not bad at all. Actually, that's it. If you've got reward points, use them. Put them to good use. You will get reward points back as well, obviously on purchase. I'm not sure actually what that will be. That'll obviously be there on the site when it goes live. So there'll be an amount put on for that, which you'll obviously redeem back. I should make sure I stop the whole train at this station.
Yeah, I mean, you got quite a long platform, so
I've got plenty to play with.
Yes.
Yeah, as well.
And as I mentioned earlier, you've got the Southwest train style stop car markers here.
Yeah, we'll have a quick
look at.
So John's putting there, 24.99 is cheaper than taking the real journey, and on that one you can only do it once, and obviously with this you can do it over and over again. Yeah, I think I've done a perfect stop there. Just about.
Ah.
Pause that. So those are the markers I presume you're on about.
Yeah. It's
Also,
the black with white at the bottom.
That's it, yeah. Also, as well, just a note on top of it, you see the GSMR sign. So if you're driving a unit that has GSMR, so for example the 158/9 from AP, they have working GSMR, so you can input that number. That's for the signal ahead. So rather than flying to the signal, you might find that wherever you start your scenario, it might be one of these signs in front of you.
Yes.
TSMRD, yes, definitely. So train care. So Salisbury Train Care Depot is over here. So you've got outside stabling, you've got the depot as well over here, which you can drive in and out of. There's no operational errors or predictions on this stream, no. That's only a Twitch thing. We're on, obviously with YouTube, we don't have that. So there's some more detail on this side as well. Lifting crane.
Yep, and there's sort of all signage on like certain lines into it. I think on that line that goes through to the lifting crane, there's sort of signs on the
there's some lifting shed door stuff here, yeah. The depot sign on the other side there as well, and some more here as well. Maintenance shed, stores, and 5 miles per hour. That'll be for cars.
I think it's 5 miles an hour for the trains as well, to be honest.
Oh, is it?
For me, yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the Salisbury signalling ASC is in the main station building now. But if you look to the right of where you stopped, you can see the old Salisbury signal box.
Yeah, that
which
one.
I think was, that was predated that one.
It's a nice signal box. That.
Yeah. Yeah, the GSMR plates, as Bugatti said, yeah, they're there. You've seen one there across all the other places in the route that have them, apart from the Southampton to Bournemouth section, but all the new section has it. Robbo, talking about further extensions, there's nothing planned at the moment. Yeah, and I imagine if anything did happen, it would only work with the JT version. I can't imagine it will work on Steam. It would be the same as MML, I assume. But yeah, there's nothing.
I'm not sure, to be fair, on how that will work, because I believe I don't know how it's going to be released on Steam anyway, because we've been an extension. I don't know how it will.
That's true.
Go. So yeah, I'm not overly sure on that. You have to just wait and see if anything ever came from that. But as I said, there's no plans on any extensions at present. Just have to wait and see what happens in the future. What we'll do is I'll go into editor and I'll just have a quick fly down to the far extremities of Quidhampton, which is a couple of miles more, is it, Jack?
Yes, it's around that 1.5 miles, 2 miles, I think. Yeah.
There's some train wash down here as well. So the depot actually extends a bit further down here. You've got a head shunt as well.
Yeah, I mean that depot head shunt is sort of the end of the line to the Great Western Route, as you mentioned earlier, and then you can see the other end of it is Quidhampton. Yeah, so that single line sort of goes up on the banking up to the foot crossing. That's one end of the GWR line. Then it was continued on. There's now houses in the way. Then it links up with the other head shunt at Quidhampton. That was all one line until about 50 years ago.
Right.
And they had the two parallel routes into Salisbury.
Oh, yes, the other head shunt there. All right. So you've got Quidhampton over here. So it's in a bit more of a disused state. You can use it though. It's got rusty tracks and there's a bit of foliage over the rails, but it's more than usable for your scenarios. And there is actually a scenario that features on here. I think class 37 working with some of the.
No, it's 66.
Oh, is it 66? What's the
37 scenarios. One I made for myself, but
oh right,
because
sorry.
it uses. Yeah, no, because it's set 20 years ago. It has to use a load of reskins for the slam door stock, so it can't be included with this.
Right, I'm with
But
you.
yeah, so you got a 66 scenario from Eastleigh to Quidhampton.
Right, excellent. We never know. We might see these extra scenarios that Jack's made somewhere one day. Anyway, so you just have to wait and see.
Possibly, yeah.
You never know. So there's all sorts going on there. There's all loaders and stuff, and obviously it's a bit more in a bit of a mothball state, but again, it's usable. You can drive in and out of there.
Yeah.
Loads of
I mean, this hasn't seen use. I think 2009 was the last train out of here, so it's 15 years now. So yeah, I think it's a bit more overgrown in reality, and I think buildings are all gone.
Yeah.
But we've sort of added them in here just so you can sort of use it in a scenario.
Yeah, it was another option. I think it was another thing that was mentioned to be added. Really, I think
it was.
I think there's some feedback actually that came
quite early
after
the stream. I think something like that.
So
again, so we added it in.
Worth adding. And then you got
because it was around the time that the ICADs from Armstrong Powerhouse released, which obviously are the wagons that ran there, so it made sense really.
Yeah.
So you got Wilton Junction here with the line to the right up to Westbury and the line to the left up to Exeter on the single line sections.
And that's as far as it goes. But some of the scenarios start at this top end here, so you can actually drive down on the passenger stuff as well.
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple of passenger, I think, and a couple of freight as well that start at that VMS signal.
Right, let's just get back in and just let that do its thing. John, thank you very much. I'm glad you've enjoyed it this evening. Thank you for joining us. So, just before we tie things up and finish things off, I'm just going to quickly go into the quick drive menu just to show you the options of what you can do before we finish up on there.
Yeah, that's right, Rob. Weston did run from there. I tried to make the scenario for that, but I struggled to make the time, so I ended up binning it. But if you can find the timings anywhere, then yeah, it'd be a good scenario. Because I think Matt Carroll made one for another part of the run.
Yeah, I remember
I asked him about the timings, and he said he sort of guessed it from as best as he could. But yeah, this bit was a bit more intricate, with like what time it was in the yards and run around and stuff. So I ended up, it was sort of too difficult to try and bodge really. But yeah, that'd be a good run to do.
Oh, you can, by the way, change your destination on F7 and 8. Just noticed.
Oh yes, of course, yeah. And you can do Shift F7, Shift F8 for the number as well.
There we go. Look at that. Just in time.
Yeah, there's a full list in the manual of the keyboard commands, etc., and all the bits and bobs section. There's loads of stuff you probably missed. It's a whole full page of miscellaneous improvements to read through.
I'll just flip through whilst it's deciding to finish.
Yeah.
You can see all the destos. Actually, there really is quite a lot.
Yeah. Checking the manual, I think, is it about 80 or 90? 88, yeah. It's 88 different ones. You've got 83 destination, then you've got lost in service, first Great Western Railway, and then I found some pictures online where all the top display lights were on, all the bottom display lights were on, so you got those two options as well at the end. Just as added fun.
Hello, Monty Burns.
I mean, you see some on there. I've just noticed Heathrow has come up. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously these would never go to Heathrow, but they're programmed into the PIS to have route codes and stopping patterns to Heathrow for whatever reason. So there's sort of a lot of stuff on here they never go to, but it's all in there.
I'll just kill that off now. We've obviously looked through all that. So you can see here as well. So just trains dash Wessex Main Line is how the route will appear in the route list. QDs. There it is, easy. So no, it's not. That's Middle Main Line. It's there. So departures, you've got 21 different start points. You've got Bournemouth, Folkestone, Christchurch, Hinton Admiral, New Milton, Sway, Brockenhurst, Lymington Town and Pier, Beolu Road. I can't pronounce that one. Bewley Road.
Yeah.
Ashurst, New Forest, Totton, Redbridge, Millbrook, Southampton Central, St Denis, Swaveling, Southampton Airport Parkway, Eastleigh, Chandler's Ford, Romsey, Mottisfont and Dunbridge, Dean. Have I got everything there?
And Salisbury would be on there, but if you've set it as maybe that's set as the destination, so it's not showing up on the main, on the depart side. That would be why if it's not there. But you can go from every station. So yeah, if Salisbury's not showing on the depart side, if you scroll down the destination side, Salisbury's probably the one that's selected. It'll be at the bottom.
So if I go... try and figure this out. I don't normally do QDs.
No, nor do I. But yeah, you can see there's all different options to go via Chandler's Ford or via Redbridge if you try different ones. But yeah, you can sort of go whichever way around the loop you want. I think there's about six different quick drives. Yeah, six different quick drive scenarios to be able to get all the different combinations in with the AI as well to get it all to work. So, because it's not an end-to-end route where you normally have one for one direction and one for the other.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of a bit of a loop. There's sort of 3 different quick drives to each direction just so you can get all the different combinations you may want.
Excellent. Alright, well, I think at that point, I think it's time to wrap things up. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's been quite an enjoyable stream tonight. It's been very busy. It's nice to see so many of you in here. Any of you that's missed anything on the stream this evening, don't forget you can watch back. Leave us a comment in the if you've got any questions, leave a comment in the chat section below. We'll get back to you with an answer if we can get it to you. So keep your eye on that. Again, for those of you that may have missed it before, planned and intended release is next Thursday, all being well. Subject to change if something happens, of course, as if anything, but that is our plan. And the price will be £24.99. Just to make you aware, again, you do need to have Southampton to Bournemouth as the base route for it to work. And if you want to obviously have the 165/166 enhancements, you do need to have European Local Asset Pack. I think is that actually a requirement for scenery as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so you need that anyway. So you do need European Local Asset Pack as well. So those are the 2 requirements.
And Train Sim Academy as well.
Chase Academy, you get that in your game, so just make sure that's enabled like you do with our Midland Main Line stuff if you've got them routes, and Swexa. Have I missed anything, Jack, before we head off?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. No,
not a problem. Is there any further questions from anybody else before we disappear? I'll give you a second. Whilst I finish off with the old bye-bye jargon. Don't forget, sign up if you want to get a notification on release at the developments page. And if you want to have a read back, do have a look at the in development blogs. And there will again be another one just before release, which is hoping to be going up in due course very soon. It's already been sent off to Scott and the team, so hopefully they'll be getting that up in the next day or 2 for you to have a browse and have a read over and have a look at the new screenshots. But yeah,
that's just a brief one. Just has some screenshots from a few testers of the scenarios. Yeah, that's about it really. Nothing new in there, but it's just sort of something. Do something else. One last thing.
Just a little roundup, really, just to get you geared up. But no, I think we are done. There's no questions come through, so thank you. What's the next route? Peak Forest. Buxton Peak Forest will be the next route. So next stream, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, all being well, should be able to do something with Buxton Peak Forest. So that'll be in the next month, and of course we'll be doing some more stuff to do with Southampton, Salisbury in the coming streams onwards as well. Yeah. Thank you. Cheers for watching, guys. Thank you for all your questions and comments throughout the evening. It's been nice to read back and also obviously engage with you on this one. Ahead of the release, thank you to everyone that's put their interest in. And we'll hope to see you on the next stream very soon. Take care, and again, thank you very much. Bye for now.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.